All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Turn 4 Sparks Controversy. This is episode 11, episode 1-1. 10 episodes have been, well, we did over 10 episodes at this point, throughout the whole of this year, 2024. And I'm just going to say this now, what a year this has been, both inside and outside of the motorsport world. Alongside me is my homie who I've known for years since 2015, Bryce Warren, who's been in a few podcasts on this station and also one of the OGs on my YouTube page. Bryce, how you been?
Eh, it's definitely been up and down, but we're pushing. We're pushing.
I say the exact same thing what you just said. Also, to join us is my girlfriend, aka Jessica Strauss. She's currently unavailable at the moment as I record this, and at the time of this recording, it is November 6th, 2024. We are not getting into politics because as it's recording, the election happened yesterday. We're not going into politics. This is politics. This is politics free. In other words, no politics will be found on this recording or any other future recordings for that matter. So politics out of the question. We're not getting into that. What we are getting into, though, considering today is 12 years of a certain something, Bryce, you know what I'm referring to. What happened on this day 12 years ago?
Well, apparently NASCAR Inside Line ended up releasing this day.
On this again, as of this recording, I'm not sure when this will be released. I'm not sure when this will be released to the public, but NASCAR Inside Line is 12 years old today, as of this recording. So, can you explain to the listeners what the gameplay looks like and your experience on NASCAR Inside Line, especially
Well,
especially recall when you first got the game?
well, to even go into like my own my own history with the game, I did not buy it when it first came out.
Oh,
I didn't. And it's not because I just didn't buy it. No, it's literally the simple fact that for me, funny story for me personally, when it comes to NASCAR video games for many years up until 2014, I only had two NASCAR games in my possession. I swear this is actually coming full circle, but I only had two NASCAR games for majority of my childhood until 2011. I just had NASCAR Thunder 2002. I didn't have all the other EA games like everybody else did. It wasn't until 2011 that I actually ended up getting, well, you guessed it, NASCAR the Game 2011. And when Inside Line came out, I didn't end up getting that until a couple years later down the road in 2014. I know, pretty crazy, pretty insane. So I didn't get it until 2014, but when I did end up getting it, because obviously, of course, I saw it at GameStop on my birthday that day, and I was like, you know what? I don't have this game yet. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I've missed out on this one. Excuse me. I missed out on this one. Sorry. Missed out on it. May as well play it. And may as well also have it because, hey, it's another NASCAR game. May as well play it. And I'll be real with you, especially after playing it for all this time. It's definitely not a NASCAR game I go back and play religiously. It's a game I'll only go back and play every once in a while. But if you were to ask me what is the best of the Technics games that we got from 2011 through 15, definitely Inside Line to me is certainly the best of the Technics games. And it definitely was for a little while. I feel like the last NASCAR game that was even worth playing because the next number of games after that were nothing but more than just piles of crap, to be fair. Like 14 wasn't terrible, but it wasn't all that good. It is a good game for me. It's not the best though, and 15 was a load of crap. So Inside Line really at that point, to be fair, was like really the only other NASCAR game really worth playing. The gameplay wise, it's pretty good. It basically plays about the same, I feel like, as 2011, but just I feel like it's tweaked a little bit better. The AI is not so bad. I mean, not so much just when you're racing. When you go to like certain racetracks, it's like tracks like Kansas or Homestead, you have multiple lanes, multiple grooves you can make passes on, or there's really you can even like run. If you want to run anywhere, say like a track like Homestead, you want to run the bottom, you can run the bottom. You want to run the middle, you can run the middle. If you want to run the top and rim ride, you can do exactly that. So I do feel like for the most part, like the racing wise wasn't too bad. The AI definitely can be brain dead. I mean, but then again, that's with all the Utechnics games. The AI can be very brain dead sometimes where at the beginning of a race, they'll stop and like just slow down and then like you're able to pass all of them, like just freight train each of them in a whole single file line sometimes, or sometimes it feels like they'll just stop in the middle of a corner and you can just get past all of them. I don't know. I feel like the hardest the AI can be definitely is if you really raise it up enough, or when you do like the challenges that are on Inside Line, that's when the AI is at its toughest. But it's not a bad game. It's not terrible. It's definitely the best of the Utechnics games. So there definitely is that. But it is a solid game. Overall, it is a solid NASCAR game, and for the longest time, I would say at least until probably like, I don't know, maybe give or take, maybe like Heat 4. That was probably like the last NASCAR game that was really at all worth playing. Because everything else after that was either just a load of crap or just like subpar, just mediocre, or just straight garbage. So yeah, but Inside Lines is not a bad game though. It's not too terrible. It's not that bad.
And on the cover athlete for NASCAR Inside Line specifically, as well as NASCAR Thunder 2003, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Like with NASCAR Thunder 2003, you know the saying of the so-called cover curse.
Oh yeah,
Now, both 2002 and 2012, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was going through a concussion. Funny enough.
it's like please stop putting
Harvick,
him on the
same
cover of
thing.
games. Stop putting
Exactly.
him on the cover of games every time he ends up hurt.
Exactly. He was also on the cover of NASCAR
And
13,
they
which
did
is
a fan
basically the
vote for that
P4 of
too.
NASCAR Inside Line. But simultaneously, regarding 2013, Dale Earnhardt Jr. despite going winless, had a solid season. And I think finishing top 10 in points.
Yeah, I think he finished 5th in points that year, when I remember, in 2013.
Make that
He
top
made a
five.
nice
Harvick,
charge.
same
It was a
thing.
nice rally late in the season. I mean, he had that blown engine in Chicagoland, and then was kind of just like hovering around like 9th or 8th in points for a little while. But then once we got to like, I want to say once we got to around like, yeah, it was around like Talladega when he finished 2nd, and then he had a decent race in Martinsville. I think he finished top 10, I believe. But once we got to Texas, he had a really good race in Texas to finish in 2nd. And I mean, even Dover, he finished 2nd too. But then he ended up jumping to 5th in points, which was pretty good. That's where he ended up finishing. So he was pretty solid. Outside of Chicagoland, he was, for the most part, pretty good during the Chase 2013. But it felt like, I know for junior fans, for anyone that is a junior fan, I can only imagine for Junior Nation that year 2013 felt like such a tease. You felt like 2012 and even 2011, you guys were building on something, and that 2013 could maybe be a championship year, only for it to basically just be another year where he's kind of like, he's good, but not great. And then goes winless for an entire year. And I can't even count on my finger how many times he finished 2nd in 2013. I feel like he finished 2nd like 6 or like 7 times in 2013. I've lost count.
He finished 2nd in plethora of times. I lost count. I know he finished P2 in the Daytona 500, which he finished 2nd to Jimmy Johnson, which I was hella pissed about, but I was a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan back then. But I digress. Again, okay, so 2013 Daytona, the Daytona 500 I'm talking about. Dover Downs in the fall, again, 2nd to Jimmy Johnson. Texas in the fall, again, 2nd to Jimmy damn Johnson. What is it with them finishing 1-2 in 2013?
Oh yeah, I know. Literally all those times, of course, me being happy. Trust me, even as a Jimmy fan, it's like I was happy that we were winning those races, but it did kind of hurt me though that it was Junior that we were beating though. Like Dover, we ended up beating Junior. Even though Junior dominated that race at Dover, and we ended up stealing it from him.
Okay. This is the same thing with Chase Elliott before he had his first win. Like, it was the same thing.
And that
He finished 2nd like 8 times?
He
8
finished
times
2nd
before his
8
first win?
times. He tied his dad. They both finished 2nd 8 times before they got their first win.
Exactly. And it's on road course too, which
Like
I have the
son,
die
right?
cast of.
Like father, like son, right?
exactly.
I know.
And who you're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, in the background is my girlfriend, aka Jessica Strauss. Jessica, how you doing?
Hello. I'll do it good.
I'm glad to hear that, honey. Few minutes in the
No
podcast, we
worries.
were talking about well, you hopped on. We were talking about NASCAR Inside Line. I don't think you played it, have you?
Over here, third wheeling.
No, I don't think I even played it. No.
My
Hey.
girlfriend's not on, so third wheeling.
Well, she's here in
Come on, at
spirit.
least I don't.
Sandra's here in spirit. So
She's at work.
Sandra, if you're by any chance listening to this, you're here in spirit. You can, if anything, sound off in the comment section on your take on a certain topic we're touching on. Which, speaking of,
And I love you.
I want to discuss, Bryce, we were literally on the phone earlier discussing these subjects outside of what I was going through these last 24 hours, as well as according to number 6. We all know what happened yesterday, which again, we ain't talking about politics here. Outside of that,
Exactly.
No. We're not bringing that up.
what happened before that, we had Martinsville take place, and that's the topic that most NASCAR people on the fan base is talking about, more so what went down with the race manipulation, as far as Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, and Bubba Wallace getting fined, and Christopher Bell doing the wall ride, which is now illegal after what Ross Chastain did in 2022. Since then, it's been banned. But here, what happened as of this recording, again, a few days ago, we had Christopher Bell do the wall ride, even though he was committed to the inside but went wide. But even despite the fact he went wide, he hit the wall, and when he hit the wall, instead of letting off the throttle, he just smashed it and rolled the wall. So it's debatable on whether or not the penalty, the punishment fits the crime. It's debatable with that regard. But I want to hear y'all's. Well, we were on call on Discord, but we were obviously off the air. But since we're on the air, I want to hear. Well, Sandra's not here to see it, but well, hear and talk this out because she's at work at the moment. If anything, again, she can. Sandra, if you're listening to this, you can sound off in the comments what you think of the subject. So simultaneously, I want to hear from you both, starting with ladies first. Honey, your take on this, your take on the subject.
Well, this is the yard. This is the wall ride we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. I know it's banned, but I feel like Bell was wrongfully disqualified for what he did. And yes, I heard Bryce getting pissed in the chat, but guess what? It's a race. There's nothing to really complain about here. But with all honesty, that was a good move. And they held off, and they also called, I think they just recently called out penalties to some of the teams helping with the thing. And it was like horrible. It was a complete mess at the end of the race. Like I was about to lose it, and my word.
Well,
I hope anybody but
actually,
Logano wins the
because
championship.
we were on a separate call. You called me, and then wait, did you call me? Either way, we were on the phone line, and you basically ranted about the subject.
Yeah, I did. And it turned into like something straight out of Dance Moms, where there's like a huge argument between me, yourself, and the drivers' moms themselves. Like it's ridiculous.
Dance Moms in a nutshell.
They think Dance Moms is about young girls in a competitive dance world, not a drama-filled reality show about their moms fighting. Exactly what NASCAR has come up to. It just turned into a reality show that looks like it should be on Lifetime, for Christ's sake.
We're 5 minutes in, and already there's yelling going on.
I swear. I'm sorry about that.
All good, honey. Love you.
No worries. Love you too.
But back on the subject. You, Bryce, I think you also mentioned this that Bell should have been excluded. Sandra DM'd me and said that Bell should have been excluded. when in reality, Bell was given a time penalty and was, well, position penalty, basically.
He was dropped to 22nd. He went down. He was the last car on the lead lap.
Fair?
Or
did you
NASCAR
think
tried,
that
tried
should have been
everything
excluded?
in their power to get Ryan Blaney disqualified so they could have their golden boy, Chase Elliott, in the Final Four.
About that, yeah, you're the win. You punch your ticket into the next round. Blaney was championship contender. Well, he was still in he is in the chase. Won the race. Boom, golden ticket to the championship four, like he did last year. Now, could this be a repeat of
And Logano should not be in there.
when he wins the Monza?
Logano should not be in there.
The following week, wins the championship. Only difference is he didn't win the race. That went to Ross Chastain, if y'all remember. Chastain won the race, but simultaneously, Blaney finished behind him and won the championship, considering he was the highest of the other three chase contenders. And that was the first time since 2013 in the Cup Series, at least. For the first time since 2013, a non-championship contender won the season finale. Denny Hamlin was the last, prior to Phoenix 2023, Denny Hamlin was the last to do it. Homestead 2013. Until Chastain won it in Phoenix last year. That's how long it's been. And Bryce, that night, your man, Jim Jam, a.k.a. Jimmy Johnson, won his 6th championship.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
However, one of his best tracks was Martinsville. But speaking on the Martinsville subject, like what my boo-boo just mentioned, explain your take on the situation while hopefully keeping your voice down.
I think it's pretty obvious what my stance is. Bell rode the f***ing wall. Like, I've been seeing people constantly the last several days talking about they don't understand what the rule of the precedent is. How do you not understand what the rule of the precedent is? Literally, the precedent was set after Ross Chastain did what he did with the Hail Melon just 2 short years earlier. Literally, wall riding was outlawed. It doesn't matter when and where you ride the wall. If you attempt to ride the wall at any point, it is a penalty. And that's what literally, if you watch it, look at his onboard and even look at even the replay. Yes, he gets loose going into the corner underneath Bubba. He does. But did he have to ride the wall like he did? No. He literally said he got loose. You can tell he got loose. What he should have done, and what a smarter thing for him to do was, he literally should have just kept it off the wall and just drove it across the start finish line without ever needing to touch the wall. But because he was, I guess, in a panic state, he just chose to gas it and rode the wall all the way through. You can tell he was going fast doing that. You knew he was. And literally, again, the rule states that you are not allowed at any point to ride the wall at all. And there's a reason why that's been outlawed. Yes, was it fun in the moment when Ross Chastain did it? Sure. Yes, he went viral for about 48 hours and then people stopped talking about it. But the reason why it's been outlawed, and the reason why I'm glad that it's outlawed, is because, think of it this way. Doesn't that seem, or doesn't that look very, very tainted? Or doesn't that not even just tainted, that's really a cheap-ass move to do when your back is against the wall. And let's say, again, like how it is for Bell and Byron, you're separated by 1 point. You need one position to get in to the next round and make the championship 4. So basically you're telling me is we should just let guys just wall ride and basically just be desperate and just make a bonsai move at the end of the race every single time, basically cheat their way in just so they can make the next round? No. That, like, if there wasn't any legitimacy at all, that makes things even more illegitimate by that logic, if I'm going to be frank with you, to be fair. Because how many times are, like you cannot have that precedent being set. Like, you can't have that. You cannot have every time that a driver, especially with this next-gen car, that every time someone's back is against the wall and they have no other option, let me just go and just ride the wall all the way around the corner just so I can get a couple positions. You couldn't do that in the Gen 6 car but you were able to do that in the Gen 7 because of how rigid and how durable the cars were, especially when they first came out a few years ago. But that's my take on the Bell wall ride situation for a minute there. The fact that he did that was stupid in his own right. He didn't need to do that. He should have just drove it across the line for a position, even though he was laps down, but should have just drove it across the line after getting loose. Like, if you're going to claim you get loose and then you do that, it's kind of hard to believe, because if you're going to get loose into the corner like that, then you know you can literally keep it off the wall and all that, right? But he chose not to. So Bell really has no one to blame but himself. I even pointed it out in an Instagram post how stupid that was. That was really dumb of him on that part. But then, not to mention that, of course, that's not the only thing that happened that night. We also had the race manipulation between also the 23 that started that in the first place, slowing all the way down, saying that he had a tire down, which prompted Bell to even do what he did in the first place. And then you also had William Byron, my guy, of course, backing all the way up because he was losing ground, losing positions because his tires were not only worn, but his car wasn't handling good. He lost 3 positions to Ryan Blaney, Austin Cindric, and Denny Hamlin, all respectively. And once he got to the 3 car and the 11, well, not 3 car and the 11, but a 3 and the 1 of Ross Chastain and Austin Dillon, they basically did, act as basically a blockade for Byron, so they wouldn't pass him and no one else could get to him, so he could ensure he had that one last position to make it into the Final Four. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that wasn't shady, because it was shady. It is. Obviously, literally making a blockade or whatnot so no one else can pass, the 24 is a very shady thing to do. And obviously, all 3 cars were all penalized, all accordingly, and rightfully so. Because, yes, they all gamed the system. The 1 and the 3 making a blockade for my guy to get in, and then obviously Bubba literally slowing all the way down, acting as if he had a tire down, so the 20 could get around him, because at that point, Bubba was the last car on the lead lap, and Bell was the second last car on the lead lap, well, off of the lead lap, for both of those two. So that basically gave Bell that one last point on the last half of it. But in my opinion, NASCAR made the right decision. They made the right call on all accounts, because you can't let stuff like this stand. You cannot allow race manipulation to stand. And if you set a precedent that you cannot wall ride at any point, that's the precedent. It doesn't matter if he didn't get into it at first and rode all the way around. No, he literally, even though he got loose, sure, he then chose. Literally, again, emphasis on chose. He didn't have to do this. He chose, willingly made a conscious decision in the moment to gas it up, ride the wall all the way around the rest of the corner, and across the start-finish line. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And that's why he's not in the Final Four. And not to mention, too, Joe Gibbs Racing and mainly Bell made a cryptic tweet a day ago, or a day after that, a day before, whatever, yesterday, saying, it was a picture of himself and Joe Gibbs. Oh, just 2 guys missing a bow tie, basically trying to imply that Chevy got away with one and that Toyota basically didn't get the special treatment or whatnot, and Chevy got special treatment. Did they get special treatment? No. But did they get away with one? Yes. But guess what? You want to know something? Joe Gibbs Racing and even Christopher Bell here are the last ones to start crying about this, because guess what? If you remember, I'm not sure if you do, but go back into the same race 4 years earlier, Joe Gibbs Racing got away with the exact same thing when it was, guess what? The 11 of Denny Hamlin in Byron's position, dropping like a rock back to the 20 car, ironically, of Eric Jones. And mind you, Eric Jones at this point was on his way out the front door. He was leaving Joe Gibbs Racing at the end of 2020. And once Hamlin lost all those positions and dropped back to the 20 car, Jones's spotter, Rick Corelli, literally, and you can even hear it, it's actually on the NASCAR Radioactive video from that race. Rick Corelli specifically tells Eric Jones, don't pass him, Literally. Straight up tells him, don't pass him, Jones. So Denny Hamlin can make that one last spot.
You remember that same quote, word from word.
I mean, even watch Eric Estep's video. Even Eric Estep played the audio in one of his second and most recent video when he discussed everything on Monday. Joe Gibbs Racing got away with the exact same thing just 4 years earlier. And guess what? That was even brought to NASCAR's attention. And unlike what happened yesterday, where actual penalties were handed down, There were no penalties handed down for Joe Gibbs Racing at all for gaming the system, for manipulating the finish. All people were focused on was Chase Elliott to a degree winning the race, but all the focus went to Kevin Harvick not making the championship 4. That right there, that race manipulation fell on deaf ears that night. Nobody cared about it. Nobody.
Moment when you talk about this race, that one moment of Harvick spinning, that one moment, that one moment,
and then the playoff format, those were the only things everybody was talking about. No one was talking about Chase Elliott winning the race that much, and nobody at all was talking about Joe Gibbs Racing literally gaming the system so Denny Hamlin can make the championship 4. No one cared about it.
No.
Nobody cared.
Because again, everyone was.
But guess what? They gamed the system.
Everyone was sugarcoating Kevin Harvick spinning himself out.
And not to mention, it also pissed me off the fact that I had to see everybody all so up in arms and upset that William Byron got to keep his spot. When guess what, you guys? You want to know what's so funny about that? How everyone's so angry and upset about all of that? Let's flash it back. What Byron did was absolutely not awful. Like, Byron didn't do anything wrong in a situation to even warrant being kicked from the chase, from the playoffs. He wasn't even involved in a decision for the Chevys to do what they did. He had no bearing on that. He was just running his own race, trying to fight for his championship life. If you want to take a look at someone who should have been penalized for doing what they did, but never was, look back at, go no further than Kevin Harvick back in 2015 when he deliberately crashed an entire field of cars at the end of the Talladega Chase race to make it to the next round. And nobody brings that up, and that's more deliberate than anything that we saw this past weekend. I would say, in my humble opinion, wrecking an entire field of cars at a play track, a very dangerous racetrack that goes up to upsets, 190, 100, 200 plus, because it's a play track, that's even worse.
Don't even bring that up in front of junior fans ever again. Don't.
That's even worse.
And Logano swept the damn round. Remember, I used to hate Logano when I was like 9, 10 years old. Like, I used to hate him, and I don't know why. And that got me even more pissed off because I was a big junior person. That pissed me off.
Junior Nation got robbed that day. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, he did.
I remember that same day when me and him, obviously, were still in high school, me and Calvin, and I remember going in the next day, and he was so pissed off. Rightfully so. He was pissed. He was like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, I can't believe you.
Dude, if they threw the caution just before, if they threw the caution when Earnhardt Jr. was, at least,
I know.
At least a foot or a
But at least we don't have the overtime line.
Junior would have swept Talladega, which he's done before.
And dude, the TV broadcast, I thought, called it right. I thought the TV broadcast called it right. The second they got to turn 1, the caution was called. I thought that's what they were going off of, but nope. They called it the second that they started wrecking.
Which is bullshit, in my opinion. Excuse my swearing, but still.
But it's literally because... But literally, if you want anyone to blame for that, you blame Kevin Harvick.
And I do.
You blame the moron that was literally out there with a failing engine. A failing engine. At first, on the first restart, he moves up on the high lane and lets everybody go. Then the second time, you can even see it on his onboard. He does a whole jerk to the right and wrecks Trevor Bayne and wrecks the whole field on purpose.
Twice.
And I wasn't the only one that said that. Literally, Denny Hamlin and Matt Kenseth both called him out on live TV, and Denny Hamlin even tweeted about it, saying, what a joke. We have a car with no engine that ends up wrecking the whole field to end the race. Sorry for anyone that paid money to see this circus.
Jesus.
Quite literally.
And he wasn't wrong.
Quite literally, it was a circus when Harvick was doing his tactics, so to say.
And he's not the only one to do it either. He ain't the only one to game the system. Of course, everybody remembers Spingate.
We would again. This is a subject, Bryce, you and me were just talking about on the phone before we got on to record. And people still talk about it nowadays. You mentioned simultaneously how Martinsville, as that happened a few days ago, you compare that to Spingate, especially with the penalties. how it's similar to what Michael Waltrip
Yeah.
went through. Can you elaborate on that?
It was very, I mean, to me, if you look at it, it's very similar, not in a way because of someone spinning out on purpose to bring out a caution, but it was similar because of the way the penalties were handed down. If you remember specifically, Michael Waltrip Racing was literally all docked, all their drivers were all docked 50 points each. All of them docked 50 points each.
Truex was knocked
Michael
out of
Waltrip
the
Racing
chase.
fined, I believe, $100,000, I think it was, they were fined, or something like that. And then Martin
$310,000.
was kicked. And then Truex was kicked from the chase, which was so absurd. Completely absurd.
But still,
I said it then, and I'll still say it now. That was very absurd, kicking Truex from the chase. It should have been Boyer.
What baffles my mind, even nowadays, it would baffle my mind then, it still is now. How the hell is Boyer in the damn thing when it should have been Truex instead of Boyer? How the hell was Boyer able to keep
It should have.
one who spun out on purpose?
It should have, but no. Instead, they choose to do this instead. They instead choose to put Ryan Newman back in the chase. Then they throw Jeff Gordon in as a 13th place car and let Boyer keep his spot and then kick Truex from the chase.
I still question as to how though and why they added Jeff Gordon in when, even though I'm a Jeff Gordon fan,
Ratings.
Jeff should not be in the chase in 2013. I'm a Jeff Gordon
ratings.
fan.
And that's why. Ratings. It was all ratings. Just ratings. Ratings.
We mentioned this
because I guess they felt, oh, we're not going to have enough pull if Jeff Gordon's not in. We're not going to have enough pull if this guy's not in here. So we're going to put him in there as a 13th place car and just add him in here just because. Just because he's Jeff Gordon.
Man, NASCAR has went through this situation before where Jeff Gordon missed the chase more than once. 2005.
Oh yeah.
That's one of them.
Or under the current format, Jeff Gordon, what round would Jeff Gordon be eliminated in?
He made the chase in 07. He never made the chase in 07. 2008, he somehow made the chase. 2009, he made the chase. 2010.
Should not have been.
Did he make the chase in 2010? I think he did. If he didn't, that just proved my point.
I don't think so. I think he might have.
But my point being, NASCAR has been in a situation where Jeff Gordon failed to make the cut. It happened in 2005, so I don't understand why they added him in 2013. I still don't understand that.
There was no reason to do it.
Exactly.
There was no reason. I mean, Jeff Gordon was not that good in 2013. He wasn't.
No.
He didn't deserve to be in the chase that year in any way, shape, or form. He didn't.
Same thing with 2005. Only difference.
I mean, he did end up finishing like.
Only difference in 05. Yeah, he won 3 races.
He didn't make it.
Season, but
under the current format, it's winner year in.
Simultaneously, Jeff Gordon, when he wasn't winning, this is 2004, of course. When he wasn't winning, he was inconsistent. That's why he didn't make the chase.
Very inconsistent. He wasn't crashing a lot.
He wasn't consistent enough. Hence why he failed to make the chase in 05.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't consistent enough at all.
And guess what? NASCAR survived. So
they were just fine without him in the chase.
Exactly my point.
They just overreacted for some reason.
They overreacted because they had a bunch of stupid, dumbass Jeff Gordon fans on Twitter rant and rave in the fact that he wasn't in the chase that year.
Apparently, NASCAR listened to that and they just slapped them on last minute.
Because NASCAR likes to make knee-jerk reactions to everything. The fans especially, because the fans are going to be the fans, because these dumbass, idiotic fans always want to jump on and just get pissed off and just rant and rave about the dumbest shit. So then they all want to just jump on Twitter and just break their fingers on their phone keyboard and be like, oh my God, this guy should be in, this guy shouldn't be in, that guy should be in. I feel like sometimes NASCAR sees that and they make knee-jerk reactions because the fans always are going to just make knee-jerk reactions to everything. So I feel like 90% of it is also fan bait because they just see all the backlash and the crap on Twitter especially. So then they just make knee-jerk reactions because of how the fans are thinking and feeling when they should stop doing that.
And apparently it's still
they can't. And the fans need to understand, and like us as fans need to understand, NASCAR has people they have to answer to. They can't just sit here and bend to the will of the fans every time something happens we don't like. No one understands that. That's the thing that fans don't get.
And frankly, never will get.
NASCAR, I swear, NASCAR fans are never happy with what they get, no
No,
matter what it is.
exactly. That's why I don't even bother with the fans anymore these days. Because at this point, I'm over here saying, which is it? What do you want?
They don't know. They don't know. This is why I've said before that this is one of the many reasons why NASCAR has been such a freaking loophole over the last 10, 15, 20 years, if not more, because the sanctioning body has no idea what the fans want because the fans themselves don't have a clear-cut grasp on what they want. We're split on literally every issue. And it's not just, a vast majority want this or some others don't. No, it's evenly split, 50-50 down the middle. One side will say, oh, yeah, we want this, we want that. Then the other will say, no, we don't want that. Change it for next week. They all expect overnight changes. All of them.
We're divided. We're divided. That's what that is.
And like I said on the phone earlier when me and Calvin were chatting, a house united is a much better than a house divided. But don't tell that to NASCAR fans. Don't tell that to them. They won't care about that. Being united? What is that?
I'm laughing because they clearly don't.
What's that mean? Like, us being united as a fan base? What is that? What's that supposed to mean?
I'm in a group chat. I'm in this NASCAR group chat by Instagram, and I see nothing but complaining. I'm not going to say what this group chat is for privacy reasons, but I keep seeing in this NASCAR group chat that I'm in complaining about the same stuff. I'm not
God, it's so annoying. It's like,
but some of those folks that are in that chat, I'm not calling y'all out by any means. It may sound like it, but this isn't me calling y'all out. That's not the case. I'm just making a
just how the fan base is in general. It's the fan base in general. All these people, all these folks do is complain. Jiminy, mother, loving toaster strudel.
Exactly. Me, I go with the flow.
Golly, man. I hate our fan base. I hate our fan base at times. I really do.
Well, what? 30 minutes?
But you've probably already known that from past episodes already.
Exactly. What? 30 minutes in and already we're yelling and screaming. First of all, how are your voice spots?
Rightfully so.
My voice is not gone.
Excuse me. I mean, I'm fine because I'm over here. I got drinks with me, so I'm totally fine. I can go another round. I can go one more. I can go one more.
All right. There was another one that we touched on.
I could get a few more shouting done in me.
There was another one we touched on the phone. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, I also saw in the again, same NASCAR group chat that I'm in, which again, I'm not saying the name for privacy reasons, and I'm not saying who, again, for privacy reasons, but it was even in the other group chat that, funny enough, all three of us are in. And what I'm seeing, Hendrick Motorsports being favored in favoritism, basically. And basically, Hendrick Motorsports fan base basically
nepotism.
Basically calling out Hendrick Motorsports. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh my god! I swear, I swear, the amount of times I feel like, and you already know where this comes from. It comes from Joe Gibbs Racing fans, and not just Joe Gibbs Racing fans. It comes from people that just don't like Hendrick Motorsports. They hate him so much, so you have to paint a false narrative because you don't like them. When I can already name a count on my finger so many times, how many times in a row that Hendrick Motorsports has literally been penalized for like certain things. I mean, it's like, do they get special favoritism? No, they don't. Why? Because guess what? Do you remember a few weeks ago that Alex Bowman was literally kicked from the playoffs after having his car failing post-race inspection for being quote-unquote not meeting minimum weight?
Yes. Dude, we literally mentioned this on the call when you mentioned it, when we thought, because Bowman was excluded afterwards, because when Bowman, we saw that all four of the Hendrick cars were in. Elliott, Byron, Bowman, Lawson, all of them were in the next round. Until we fast forward a few hours, we get the word that Alex Bowman was excluded from the race results due to minimum weight or weight infringement.
And Logano got in. And
if Hendrick
Logano should not have been here in the first place.
Literally, facts. And if Hendrick Motorsports was so favored, then they literally would have kept Alex Bowman in regardless of him failing inspection. But they didn't. They kicked him from it and let Logano, the squinty-eyed mofo, in. And then not to mention, do you guys remember last year the whole louvers incident thing where they ended up being penalized for their louvers being a certain way? And then the appeals panel ended up rescinding that and giving them all their points back. NASCAR was so furious over the fact that they did that they ended up cracking down and literally forwarding another points penalty to Byron and Bowman both, and they lost more points than they did before to make an example out of them. So if NASCAR favored Hendrick Motorsports so much, then why did those two penalties exist? Someone please explain that to me. Like, I am so sick of fans making false narratives on something just because you don't like something. Like, listen, if you don't like Hendrick Motorsports, that's totally fine. You ain't gotta like Hendrick Motorsports. But don't sit here and paint a stupid false narrative just because you don't like them. That's the dumbest shit I think I've ever seen. Hell, I don't like Joe Gibbs Racing, but you don't see me making false narratives on Gibbs because one of their drivers ended up winning a race they shouldn't have. Blame that on the officiating, not NASCAR or the team. Blame that on the officiating, for crying out loud, not the circumstance. Like, use your brain cells, for crying out loud. But unfortunately, that doesn't solve dumb people. So trying to get into legit comm wars with these people that say that stuff doesn't solve dumb people. That's all I can tell you.
You can't fix stupid people, dude.
I see way too much of that, and it pisses me off. Like, that's my rant on that, because I've been seeing way too much of it for years. It's been pissing me off.
You can't fix stupid, dude. You can't fix stupid.
And as a Hendrick fan, it makes me sick. Like, seriously, literally as a Hendrick Motorsports fan, literally someone I've been a Hendrick Motorsports fan all my life anyway, as well. So, of course, literally as a longtime Hendrick loyalist, it kills me. You make me sick.
Especially.
I agree with you. I've been a Hendrick fan since 2014, and it's really pissing me off.
Me, personally, I've been a Hendrick fan 2012, if not earlier than that. Over the years, I've seen it. Nowadays, I back away from it or rarely say anything. More than not, back away from it.
And it's because you really can't sit here and argue with fans, because fans are either A, very, very brain dead and just always want to just stir the pot every single time anything happens, or you just have people that want to just be douchebags and just hate just for the sake of hate.
Or
like in the world.
Or in this case,
yep.
with the Chase, complain about the same thing over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, maybe
I've gotten
NASCAR
so
will
tired
learn
of
their lesson.
it.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe NASCAR
I am
will
so
learn their
tired of
lesson.
it.
Yeah, we have the Chase format, this 20.
I'm so tired.
Bracket format for 10 years, going on 11. But Jesus Christ, can we shut the hell up about the flaws? We get it. Damn.
It's like, literally at this point, we freaking get it, man.
On my 8th birthday. On my 8th birthday. Ridiculous.
It's like, I really wish people would just stop talking about it this way. Me, the reason why, like, the only reason, I think everybody knows this, the only reason the playoff format is that even the Chase in general is as controversial as it is, it's all based off of fairness. It's what people think. I'm so tired of the stigma of, so-and-so in this format would be the champion. Like, can you please stop telling me the hypotheticals and the what-ifs? I don't care. We're not competing under that format, okay?
Exactly.
We aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that you should like. Here's the thing. When I say what I say, I'm not telling people, you should just automatically like the format because I do. Absolutely not. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. I get it. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's your opinion. You're entitled to that. You've earned that right. Me, of course, maybe I'm in denial because I like the playoff format. Now, I don't like it all the way through. Trust me, it has a lot of flaws, a ton of flaws, and I'll point them out right now. One, I do not like already. I do not like the simple fact that you can win the Daytona 500 tomorrow and be locked into the Chase in February. I've actually gone on record on saying this. I've said this before in a recent podcast a while back, that I don't like that you can win one race and be locked into the playoffs in February. I hate that. That's the number one thing I hate about the format. I also don't like, that the playoffs, mainly as far as the championship 4, comes down to one race. I don't like that either. I don't like the fact that you get to Homestead or Phoenix or whatever the race is held at, and it all comes down to whoever finishes ahead. Of the 3. Whoever the 4 finishes ahead is the one who wins the championship. I don't like that either. I hate that it comes down to one race. And I also don't like that every position is a stupid point. So literally you're telling me that someone who's laps down that's in the playoffs right now, if they do nothing more than just gain 3 simple points when it's a 3-point battle between you and whoever the other car is that's ahead of you in points, if all you simply do is just, if you're 23rd, right, and then the guy you're chasing in points is running like 8th, they can automatically get kicked from the damn playoffs because because they lose positions or because you gain positions, even though you're running 23rd and they're finishing much higher than you. I hate that. I don't like that one position counts as a point for every position you pass a car. I hate that because I hate that it rewards people that run like dog shit all race, and then they instantly, especially in the elimination race, end up making those 3 positions back. And then the guy that finishes 8th or 7th or even lower than that, like 2nd, for example, ends up being kicked literally because someone pulls a bonsai move late. Like, for example, Ryan Newman in 2014. He punts Kyle Larson out of the way, and that knocks Jeff Gordon out of the damn chase to not make the Final 4 that year. Just because Ryan Newman did that dirty nonsense at the last lap, literally punting Larson out of the way, and Jeff finished like 2nd or 3rd that day and should have been in the damn championship 4. But he wasn't because Ryan Newman chose to be a d-.
I remember that day very vividly in that very move.
Oh, God. Harvick won that. He was below the cut line and he advanced.
Not only did he win, but he swept Phoenix because he won the spring race months before. And also,
but those are some flaws. I don't like that. I don't like that about the playoff format. Those are some flaws right there that I just don't like about it. And I also don't like, too, not to mention also talking about wins, I also do not like the simple fact as well, not only with wins in the regular season counting towards all of that mess, getting you into the chase, but I also don't like the fact that you can also win a measly 1 race like Joey Logano did back in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, and even though he's 15th in points, that automatically kicks him into the championship 4 because he pulls a win out of his ass for the 1,000th time in his career.
At what you just mentioned, Logano, I've seen YouTube videos and comments that Logano is arguably the luckiest NASCAR driver, period. Do you agree?
He is. He is the luck. I said it actually also as well in one of my posts on Instagram. He is the luckiest son of a I've ever seen to touch a cup car. Okay. He is. No one else gets this lucky and unlucky. He is so unlucky in like odd years. In odd years, he's so unlucky. But in even years, oh no, everything works his way, regardless if he wins the championship or he doesn't.
I'll take that as a yes.
He can't keep getting away with this.
Also, to your point, Bryce, when you mentioned that Jeff Gordon finished P2 at the end of the penultimate round in 2014 in Phoenix, he did finish P2. Yes, he did.
I think he did. I remember that.
The reason why I didn't make it in because he didn't lead a lap. I think at that time you get a point for leading a lap or something. I know 2010 and
but neither did Newman.
You get 5 bonus points for leading a lap, but 2011.
But neither did Ryan Newman. Neither did he.
And that's the point for leading the most laps. Which on this occasion, in the 2014 Quicken Loans 400, which was the penultimate round of the championship. This was the race before the Homestead race in 2014. We're coming up to the 10th year milestone of this race from Phoenix as of this recording. Kevin Harvick won the race and dominated, leading 264 of the 312 laps en route to victory. His 4th of the 2014 season. 4 for 4. And then it would be 5 when he won the following. But Jeff Gordon was 2nd and third on the podium. And Ryan Newman finished P11 after punting Kyle Larson into the wall. Tell me how.
And he got in on the last lap.
Tell me how Gordon finished higher than Ryan Newman, 2nd place, but Newman finished a little bit further in 11th. How does that?
Ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And Newman didn't even lead any laps the entire round of 8. The last time he even led laps was he was competing for the win at Talladega. Talladega was the last time he even led laps the rest of the season, from what I remember.
Yes. He led 10 laps that day.
Was Ryan Newman consistent? Yeah, Newman was consistent, sure, but he was average all year long.
Okay, so Ryan Newman's stats from 2014 read 0 wins and finished second in the championship despite going winless, which is still wild to me 10 years later. And someone actually rooted for Ryan. One of the neighbors, who used to be neighbors until he moved, was rooting for Ryan Newman to win the championship. I said Kevin Harvick. We all knew who was right. As of 10 years later, we all know who's correct. Well, mainly that night, but still, my point. I rooted for Harvick. One of my neighbors rooted for Ryan Newman. In the end, my neighbor was wrong. I was correct. I ain't no fortune teller, but I predicted it. But back to Ryan Newman's stats from 10 years ago. 0 wins, 5 top fives, 16 top tens, 0 pole positions, led for 41 laps out front, second place in the championship, in the championship standings. Funny enough, after finishing second to Kevin Harvick in the season finale, second in the race, second in the championship, with a 13.3 average start and a 12.7 average finish.
And that is supposed to reward him a chance at the championship, apparently. Average. Mid. We
look at Kevin Harvick's stats now. Ryan Newman, like you said, was mid. We look at Harvick's stats. We compare that to the champion. This is Kevin Harvick's stat book. This is his 2014 resume. 5 wins, which were both Phoenix races. Darlington. What was the other one? He won both Phoenix races. He also won Darlington. Charlotte. Always.
Charlotte and Stone.
As well as Homestead. That's 5. Let me count one more time. Phoenix.
Yeah. Both Phoenix races.
Homestead. Yep, that's 5. So those are the 5 wins.
Literally.
Along with 14 top 5s, 20 top 10 finishes, 8 pole positions, led for 2,137 laps, and of course, won the race in the season finale, and with it, the championship. This was actually, by the way, mind you,
more than deserving.
10 years ago, this was actually the first year of the whole bracket system implemented. Kind of like what the NFL had.
And I will say, that's a deserving champion.
And what the MLB
that's deserving.
Has. I don't know if Honey, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm still with you guys.
Honey, do they have a bracket system for the playoff in the NHL?
In the NHL, they do. They do.
NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, NASCAR joined those sports when they implemented the bracket system in 2014, 10 years ago. This was the first year of that bracket system.
Oh, anyway, and I think they're doing the in-season tournament next year, too.
With a 9.1 average start and a 12.9 average finish. So Newman was a 12.7. Harvick was a 12.9.
He may have a worse average. Here's the thing. The way I look at that, he may have a worse average finish than Newman does. But the thing that he strengths in where Newman lacks was even though Newman was a little bit more consistent, Harvick was way more up there than Newman was all year. Harvick was at least leading laps and actually showing that he actually was a dominant car, or even not just being a dominant car, at least actually showed that he actually deserved to be up there more than once. Because, Newman was finishing better, but sometimes that was at the expense of other people wrecking around him. Harvick sometimes, not to mention, I can't even count to you how many times Harvick actually either dominated a race or ended up running well in a race for more than half of it, then got wrecked or had some type of problem or something or got screwed. Like, there were multiple times where Harvick was up front more than half of the times in the season and got fucked or whatever. So, Newman might have been a little more consistent, but Harvick showed that he was a threat to win races normally week in and week out. I remember watching it vividly in 2014. There wasn't almost a single race that I did not remember Harvick being at least a threat to win, or at least being in contention for a top 5 or 10.
Well, more often than not, in 2014, Kevin Harvick was a serious contender for a race win, which he was, and winning
He
five.
was a serious contender all the way around. Like 90% of the time, Harvick was up there. Even if he wasn't winning, and even if things didn't work out, he was up there more often than he wasn't.
You know who else was?
Some things just didn't work his way.
You know who else was up there in that regard?
Who?
Jeff Gordon.
Yep, I mean he had at that point pretty much his best statistical season in a little bit.
His best, strategically speaking, his best season, arguably since 2011. But
Literally.
point being, with Gordon's stat book, it shows 4 wins, which those 4 wins was Kansas, Michigan, Indianapolis, as well as Kansas, Indianapolis,
Dover.
Michigan, as well as Dover Downs.
Dover.
4 wins.
Yeah, Kansas, Indy, Michigan, Dover.
4 wins, which have the Dover winning card diecast. 4 wins. I believe, Bryce, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Dover Fall race in 2014 was Jessica Goggins' first NASCAR race she went to in person. I believe.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I figured. I figured.
Yep.
So 4 wins, 14 top fives, the most top tens with 23 of them. 23 top tens across the 36 race calendar. Yeah, that's more than half the races. Along with that,
Literally, more than half of the races.
Along with that, 3 pole positions, leading for 1,083 laps, with an average start of a 9.0 and an average finish, the highest average finish, of a 10.4.
The best all-around driver all year, and didn't make the Final Four
All
because Newman wanted to be a dick.
That one move from Ryan Newman.
But as it goes to show you how flawed the playoffs especially were when they first were implemented from 2014 through 16, I'll tell you what,
Dude,
the playoff form we have right now definitely is so much better. Because I'll tell you the truth, even then, I'll tell you what, the format we have now is not perfect, but it definitely is so much better than the format we have from 2014 through 16. My God, that was a circus show.
You think?
I mean, my goodness. I mean, you get a lot more benefits, I feel like, in this one than you did back then. Bonus points didn't carry over from round to round like they do now. Back then, they didn't carry over nothing back then, dude.
Oh. All they cared about was where you finished. Points didn't matter.
It was all about where you finished and if you could win. That's all that mattered. If you cared, all they cared about is if you could finish well or if you could win. Mainly if you could win.
Exactly.
That's all that really mattered, if you could win. If you couldn't win, then you were basically done.
Under the old Winston Cup format, Jeff Gordon would have been the champion 10 years ago. And
literally, that's a good possibility. So that's a missing ring for old Jeffy J.
Another one, 2004 and 2007. So Gordon could have had what? 7 championships?
You know, it's so funny because I feel like that's basically been like a tired argument that's been going on for decades now, for so damn long, of people saying that, oh yeah, he'd be a 7-time champion if the chase didn't exist.
He would be.
I feel like I've heard that argument 1,000 times.
He would be. Because obviously.
But then I feel like. The problem with that argument too is
4 championships.
How many times has he come so close but then falter?
Exactly.
Like outside of 2014 not being his doing by any means, mainly because he got screwed in 2014, obviously. But how many other times, like in 2007 or 2004 or whatever, they falter. Like 2004, part of it was because of the fact that I think he had an engine let go or whatnot at Atlanta, so that kind of derailed his chances there.
Yes, he did. That happened.
In 2007, in my opinion, Jimmy was just better. He got beat straight up. That's just how I look at that. He just got beat straight up.
So you're saying 2000?
Like, sure, was he better than Jimmy throughout the season? Yeah, in a way, he was better than Jimmy throughout the season. I'm not going to deny that. But Jimmy had 10 wins. Jeff, I think, had 7?
6, actually.
So Jimmy outclasses him in wins, and then also outclasses him also in just pure consistency.
And
so it's like, I just feel like, don't get me wrong, Jeff, you can make an argument over that. I mean, I feel like you're wrong, but like that's an argument you could make. But Jimmy was just better. That's why Jimmy won the title. They were just better.
Okay. Honey, what do you think?
So what was the question? Can you repeat the question?
Do you think in 2007, do you think Jimmy Johnson was more deserving of the championship to Jeff Gordon?
Jimmy Johnson? Hell no. Jeff Gordon? Yes.
And I agree.
Jeff Gordon was.
I agree.
Gordon was the more consistent driver throughout the year.
Which he was. That's why I say I agree with you, honey. Sorry, Bryce. I gotta disagree. I gotta humbly disagree with you on this one. Because, dude.
Hey, you're right to disagree.
Dude,
what the heck?
The stats don't lie. Jeff Gordon had 6 wins on the chart with 21 top 5s, 30, count them, 30 top 10s. Mind you, 36 races on the calendar. Jeff Gordon had 30 top 10 finishes. No, I'm not making this up. He literally had 30 top 10 finishes in 2007. Again, 30 out of 36? Jimmy Johnson, his top 10 finish stat, 24. Just short. That's
still pretty damn good, though. That's still pretty damn good.
That's why I say...
And not to mention, again, like I said earlier, 10 wins compared to 6.
No.
10.
30 out of 36 top 10 finishes. How do you explain that?
Simple, man. Jimmy just did a little bit more.
Well, on the wins count, sure.
Like, look at it this way. The way that I look at this is, Jimmy, when he won not just the 2007 title, but all of his titles in general, all of that was because they found a way to win. Even if the stats are different, and even if the stats are a little bit less than how I would even say someone like probably even Carl Lewis, obviously even Edwards even had 9 wins in 2008.
Yes,
and
he did.
I would even say ran a lot better than Jimmy did in 2008, probably even that as well. But the difference between all of that is that, and I go back to keep saying this over and over and over again, that 48 team, man, regardless of where you thought that you had them, they always found a way to get it done. Regardless of the top 10s they had, regardless of the top 5s, regardless of the wins, regardless of anything that was thrown their way, they just found a way to win.
You mentioned
that's what they strived off of. That's how good they were. They found a way to win.
You mentioned 2008. Dude, even then, Carl Edwards was more consistent. Jimmy Johnson had 7.
And even though they were more consistent, did they come away with a title at the season's end?
Johnson won.
Nope.
No, Johnson won 7 times. Cousin Carl, 9. Top 10s. Even the top 5s. Carl Edwards with 19 top 5s. Jimmy with 15. Top 10s.
Who's the more better driver
Carl
now?
Edwards, 27 compared to Jimmy Johnson's 22.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Yeah.
I still go back to the same thing.
Now.
Yeah.
Did they come But here's the thing.
Johnson,
did they come away with it at the season's end, though? Did they come away with it at the end? Did they put it all together and make it actually matter? No, they did not.
My question is, okay.
Because here's the thing. My thing about it is this. If you're going to do all that, you better back it up with the damn cup at season's end. Did they do any of that? Nope.
Absolutely not.
No, they didn't. Absolutely freaking not. They didn't. Why? Because they faltered. When it mattered most, they faltered.
Particularly Talladega when that big...
This is exactly what happened with William Byron in 2016 in the Truck Series.
Actually...
Well, that was a failing engine. That wasn't even on him. That was a failing engine. Now, 2023 last year, oh yeah, that was definitely him. The team faltered when it mattered the most last year. They went to the championship 4, and guess what? Blaney and those guys, they adjusted on their car so much more than Byron did. And even though Byron had the most wins, most top 10s, best average finish, and this is a William Byron fan speaking. We fumbled. We fumbled the bag. We fumbled.
Under the old format, would you win?
Possibly, yes.
I don't know what if this is 2023.
Did it happen?
Under the Winston Cup format,
it didn't.
William Byron would win the championship last year again under the Winston Cup.
But of course, did we win it? No,
you should.
We didn't win it.
You could,
and that's on us.
You could have.
That's on the 2014.
Yeah,
that's on them. And they fumbled. Again, this is a Byron fan speaking. They fumbled the bag. And they failed at it. They failed miserably.
Back to the 2008 subject. I haven't got to.
Well, guess what?
Part. Carl Edwards with the highest average finish of a 9.5 compared to Jimmy Johnson's average finish of a 10.5. I don't know, dude.
That's only a like.
But then my argument with that is, how many other times have we even seen guys that even had about those same exact stats basically have the exact same and not come away with it?
Except,
and also
you've seen it numerous times.
Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson in the top 5 in the Winston standings. None of them get to compete for a title.
Now we look at the DNFs. In 2008, Johnson had just 1. Carl Edwards, 2.
And that's another thing. That's another reason why Jimmy won it. Because he stayed on the track more. He was on the track way more than Edwards was, despite Edwards maybe being just a little bit better. Jimmy and the boys knew how to stay on track more. They limit their The reason why Jimmy even won a lot of these titles in the first place is because they limited their mistakes.
And came back.
Where everyone else made a bunch of mistakes and faltered, the other ones all crumbled under the pressure and made a lot of mistakes.
And
they got caught up in a lot of wrecks.
They had
a lot of DNFs.
To your point, came back from the slip up, i.e., again, 2008 regarding Atlanta. I don't know if you remember this, but Johnson had a speeding penalty or some form of penalty, and after a late decision coming down pit road, either sped coming in or out of the pits. Had to come in to serve his penalty and started way back of the bus, worked his way through the field en route to P2. Who won the race?
And that's
Edwards.
And this is why, bro. This is why I sit here and say all the time that Jimmy Johnson is my GOAT for this reason. It's not just because of the wins. It's not just because of his posture and just who he is as a person. It's also the simple fact, too, that this man, every time, at least until the very end of his career, obviously, we all know how that went. He's just washed. He's not the same anymore, obviously. I'm not going to deny you that. But especially in his prime, and people like to make it, oh, just Jack Canals. No, that was a testament to Jimmy's driving style and who he was under pressure a lot. Even when he was under that much immense amount of pressure, especially in those 5 championship winning seasons, he always found, this is what true GOATs do. You find a way to win even when your back is pressed against the damn wall. Even when the stats say you shouldn't win. Even when everything's pressed against you. Even when everything says and is screaming at you in the face that you don't think you deserve to win it, you still do it anyway.
And Johnson's
Do you see anybody else doing that? No, you don't.
And Johnson has done that more often.
And I'm tired of people with this stupid stigma that always think that he needs to get a W to validate that he's better. I'm tired of the stigma, man. I'm tired of the stigma of these people that will always sit here and shove this down my throat that he needs to win all the time 24/7 just to be the GOAT, just to be the best.
This comes back to 2000.
He's proven it time and time again. He doesn't have to be.
This comes back to 2007.
Win or lose, he's my GOAT.
Period.
And I say that passionately because I'm a passionate damn fan, man.
I was going to ask you regarding...
It means something to me, bro.
What?
It just pisses me off. I have to keep always seeing people say that mess. That, oh, he doesn't deserve his championships. He doesn't deserve his wins. He doesn't deserve any of this stuff. When all he's ever done is just gone out and beaten people straight up. He's never had to wreck anyone to do it. He's never had to cheat his way to do it. I don't care what the haters say. He's beaten people straight up. I'm sick of the stigma. Tired of it.
About his whole career, too.
His entire career he was doing that, from his rookie year until literally around 2016, 2015. We don't talk about 2017. 2017 was really, really the time where everything really started to fall off. But even before then, he was faltering a little bit. But even still then, even when he was faltering, he still had his last gasp in him.
More so 2017, because that's the year he won his last 3 races. Texas, Bristol, and Dover, which we were there for that one. Little did we know that'd be his last win. And then
that shit gets on my damn nerves as the fan is, man. I'll tell you that much.
No,
tired of people literally sitting here trying to literally put an asterisk every time next to all his wins and championships. He didn't just get that just because he drives for Hendrick Motorsports. He didn't just get that just because he ended up getting gifted with a ride or being gifted because of just, oh, he's Jimmy Johnson. No, he earned it. I don't hear anybody saying this about Jeff Gordon back in the 90s when Jeff Gordon was doing what he was doing, because Gordon earned that shit too.
95.
So did Dale Earnhardt, and so did Richard Petty. And guess what? Even Richard Petty ain't the GOAT, but even Richard Petty earned his wins too.
Exactly.
Those 200 wins mean something, man.
Arguably.
Even he earned those.
Arguably, because Charlotte, 1983, his car, there was something that NASCAR found in the technical department that was illegal. So that one, it's questionable because of that. Even though Petty got fined and the team got fined, because for the sake of Richard Petty approaching that 200 win mark, they let that win stand. At first, they were going to exclude him from the race win, but again, like I said moments ago, because he was 1-2 wins away from hitting that 200 mark, NASCAR decided to let the win stand. Charlotte, 1983. Always speaking. Back to the subject with Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson. Honey, you still with us?
I am still with you guys.
Despite that debate Bryce and I had moments ago.
I'm sorry, I'm a passionate fan. I'm very passionate.
Yeah, I can tell.
But you know this already.
But anyways.
And it's just also pent up frustration because I'm just tired of I'm just tired of the same stigma I hear from everybody all the damn time. It pisses me off. It honestly gets under my skin.
Okay.
So you've heard from me and Bryce. Honey, I want to hear from you. We're going as far as 2008 is concerned for the Cup Series. Who's more deserving of the championship? Cousin Carl or Jimmy Johnson?
I think it's Cousin Carl because of everything that he's gone through. Like, he did everything he could.
Jimmy Johnson in every
like, Carl Edwards has been absolutely amazing.
And outclassed Jimmy Johnson in almost every category, minus the pole positions and the laps led. And the earnings.
Exactly.
But most wins, most top fives, most top tens, a 9.5 average finish. My point proven.
Yikes. No, that's a big old yikes.
Another thing to touch on is the charter system, especially with 2311 and Front Row Motorsports. I think you mentioned this to me, that they filed a lawsuit and they were in court recently because of the charter system.
Yes, they are.
Can you both explain what the charter system is while simultaneously explain what's going down with 2311 and Front Row as to why they're filing a lawsuit? Ladies first.
The reason why 23...
Oh,
the reason why
what a can of worms.
Didn't he say ladies first?
Yes, I did. Therefore, honey, what's your take?
Okay. Like, if Tyler Reddick wins the championship, it's going to be a big middle finger to NASCAR. And, like, they can bring them their charters, if they can sign the charter contract if Reddick wins the title. Like, that's the only reason why they're going to back out. they're not going to back out of it. As for front row, yeah, that's not happening. I just feel like maybe, just maybe, like this lawsuit's going out of control. They'll probably let the France family out of the sport entirely, and then hop on to something and make another family can run it. Like that's the truth.
Or someone who actually knows to run a business, let alone a sporting business.
Exactly. How about we get the Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones?
Oh.
He could run the NASCAR. He could.
If you really think that's a good comparison, that's literally the worst comparison ever. Like, why do you think the Dallas Cowboys are so bad? It's because of Jerry Jones.
It's because of
Bring Jerry Jones in, he's going to make NASCAR even worse than what it is.
His daughter is the same thing. Charlotte's the same thing.
You bring Jerry Jones in, that's going to be the exact. That's going to be. You're just going to get the France family 2.0. So that's an absolute no.
France family 2.0. That's one way of putting it.
We'll see what. I don't know, and I don't know what Kelly and Judy would say about Charlotte leaving the organization. I don't know what Kelly and Judy are going
to say. But anyway, though, obviously for any new viewers, basically the charter system was implemented from what I can remember, the 2016 season.
Yes, 2016. Yep.
Excuse me. And it was basically to ensure that, like the teams and everybody at least is basically able to have, like, from what I can recall, it's basically to ensure that every team at least has at least all charters and all that stuff. At least every team, put it in simple terms, every team is at least able to have at least 2, 3, or like 4 cars each. You're guaranteed to have at least 2, 3, 4 cars for your team all the time. You're always guaranteed to have a spot no matter what. That's especially very, key component going into like Daytona 500 race weekend, or just in general, like every race weekend, you're always guaranteed to have at least a car with you or a backup or whatever it is, what have you. And it's also to ensure in their eyes that the teams at least all got some revenue and all this other extra shit too. But unfortunately, the charter system is absolute garbage. The charter system absolutely sucks. This charter system that we are under is actually freaking terrible. It's not good whatsoever. Especially because of one aspect of the charter system that really sucks, is that it literally screws over the smaller teams. Smaller teams in this charter system agreement have gotten screwed over numerous times, over and over and over again. Like, especially when it comes to the Daytona 500. You have a lot of small teams that don't even end up making the frickin' race and all that because of this charter system. Because the charter system really only allows, for most weekends, up to the minimum of at least like 36 cars to even be entered into an event. The most that can be entered into an event nowadays is 40. But back then it used to be 43. But thanks to the charter system, nowadays it's only the max 40, or at the very least 36 cars can be entered into a race at a time. So if you miss out because your lap times are slow, or because you guys can't get a car in on time, or because you crash all of your cars, well, good luck trying to get back in, because the charter system isn't going to allow you to do it. And then, not to mention, the whole reason we have this lawsuit going on right now with 2311 and Front Row on Motorsports suing NASCAR over this is because of the simple fact that NASCAR, with this charter system, with a new charter agreement, literally basically forced teams to have to sign it back in the summer. And pretty much every single team except for those two, like Hendrick, your Gibbs, your Penske, they all signed it back in the summer because they felt like they had no choice. They all felt like literally they were all under a microscope. And they literally described it. I think one of them, it was Richard Childress, whoever it was, described it as they felt they had a gun to their head. Like, it was basically do or die. Like, if you don't sign this, we're going to force you to sign it. Or if you don't sign it, then you get no charters, basically. So 2311 Racing and Front Row basically seeing an opportunity to try to basically, in a way, you could say, win some fairness back to also the teams and the drivers. There's also another reason as to why they're even suing in the first place is because it's all about the moral aspect and the fairness aspect too, because of the simple fact that a lot of the money that goes, a lot of the money and stuff that comes like the TV revenues and the tracks and everything and other stuff, barely any of that goes to the teams. Literally, Jeff Gordon actually went on record saying that Hendrick Motorsports has not turned a profit over in over 10 years.
Wait, what?
That's how you know something. Yeah, Jeff Gordon literally said that Hendrick Motorsports, literally NASCAR's top team of all time, the winningest team in NASCAR history, at over 300 plus wins, has not made a profit in 10 years. Drink that in real quick. How in the hell does your most successful team in the sport not turn a profit in 10 years?
I'm sorry, but that is just unbelievable. That's just unbelievable to me.
Very alarming. Extremely alarming. Your go-to team of the sport has not turned a profit in 10 years. And literally, the teams also are overworked and tired because they feel like we're putting all this money, we're busting our asses on these cars constantly, all the time, and we're getting barely paid enough to do any of this. We're not getting paid the same amount that the TV networks get paid and all the other partners get paid, and especially NASCAR and the France family get a lot of the revenue and a lot of the money themselves, especially because literally 13, from what I saw a while ago, at least 50% of the earnings and stuff like that always go to the tracks in NASCAR, and like 13% only go to the teams, which is barely anything at all.
So most of that revenue goes to the track owners.
Literally. And the teams get screwed and basically get nothing. Despite the fact that we're all running the same car. We're all running a spec car, but guess what? It costs much more to put these cars together. Even though they're spec cars that are provided to them by NASCAR.
And yet when they crash and they have to make repairs, that's basically more money being added to the pile. It all adds up.
Literally. It's more dollars being added to it. And it all carries over. So 2311 in front row seeing an opportunity to try to basically win some fairness in and also argue their case, which is, I think, a pretty solid case for the most part. Excuse me. I mean, because I'll be real, I don't know for sure if it's a surefire win for them because of the simple fact that NASCAR has held their own in certain cases of this stuff before. So, and both parties, from what I heard from recently from the last court date, both had very compelling arguments on both ends. So it's hard to pick out and say who's clearly going to win this. I mean, I think I heard by tomorrow. Well, not by tomorrow, excuse me. By Friday, we should have a clear, definitive stance, I guess, on where everything's going and all this stuff with the court date, with the court debates and everything and all the other extra stuff. We should have some more information, I think, by Friday, from what I've seen and heard.
Friday?
But,
oh boy.
Yeah, this Friday, from what I've heard. This Friday, we should have a little more information. But, yeah, I can't blame the teams for wanting to sue and for wanting to actually get some, fairness back. Because it's all about, for the teams, it's all about them wanting some equality and wanting that piece of the pie. That's why the teams are doing this. The teams are outraged because they want some control. It's all about control for the teams because they feel like they have zero control and zero say in what it is they get to do or what it is they get back whatsoever. NASCAR themselves has all the power and all the revenue, and the teams get nothing. And they're tired of that, and rightfully so. So I get it. The teams just feel like we want some control, we want some power, and NASCAR has basically been abusing that power, they feel like, and basically trying to make them all race under the same charter agreement that doesn't benefit them. Doesn't benefit them in the slightest. So that's part of the reason, a big reason as to why this whole lawsuit thing is coming into fruition, and I can't say I blame them. I really can't.
My boo-boo, you still there?
What were you thinking? I am still here. I just had to go out and do some things. I think the IndyCar game crashed, and I'm not surprised. And I'm not surprised that the IndyCar game crashed. I'm not surprised.
I saw the results on the screen.
iRacing
or
something else?
Nah, it's NO 2003, dude. NO 2003.
Oh, okay. I was about to say iRacing or something.
Bryce.
Okay.
Bryce, you won your class for the Piston Cup Series we're in.
I saw that. About to
Are
comment
you
on that
happy?
later.
Just Wanna Rock? You better play Just Wanna Rock for that.
That might be my
Play it on this recording.
thing. Well, I can't. Obviously, I'm not going to. But I want to.
We can't do that because it's a copyright strike. YouTube's rules.
And Spotify.
Yeah. So, we all know how strict rule. We all know how strict YouTube is.
And Spotify.
That's
YouTube can be a pain in the ass to demonetize everything.
What
Or
they
you might
do.
get a copyright strike in general. It's stupid. I just hate copyright strikes.
As far as the class that
It makes you wonder why.
Tony, that you mentioned the class, the Piston Cup. What about me? What did I finish? What did I rank?
You finish. You in your class.
Hmm.
You finished 6th.
Not bad.
Not bad. I was say that's a pretty solid finish.
Definitely better than an engine.
I didn't even realize the Heat was playing.
I'm sorry?
I didn't even realize my basketball team was playing. Right now, we're losing to the Suns by 4 points.
Miami Heat.
That's not bad.
They still got time. They just lost. They lost to Sacramento a few days ago to the Kings by like 1 point. It's like 110 to 111.
Oh, now that I think of
That's
this.
not bad.
This
So that
podcast,
sucked.
not only we talk about motorsport stuff, we talk about things outside of motorsport, like video games, as with the last episode when I had TJ on the podcast a few months ago. But since pretty sure the MLB season just concluded recently, has it not?
Yeah. And we're all
Yes, it's
pissed
over.
that the Dodgers beat. We're all pissed.
Can you both?
It was gonna happen. I swear that grand slam from Freddie Freeman literally just knocked the wind out of our sails. I know
Freddie
it did.
Freeman is and Freddie Freeman also won MVP, which I actually predicted that was going to happen.
Dude's a freaking menace.
Who's
like,
Floyd?
my God.
He should join our team. He should join our team.
I wish he would because, I mean, my God, that freaking grand slam. I mean, not to mention, literally before he even did that, the announcers were hyping it all up and everything. And then 2 seconds later, then he hits a walk-off grand slam to win game 1.
And that was beautiful.
That literally just crushed my soul. It crushed my soul in more ways than one. I mean, I was already having a bad week at that point, so that just made my week even worse.
Ouch.
I was already rooting for the Dodgers to begin with because I knew the Yankees were going to suck in the World Series.
And
they did.
Sure enough.
The only game they showed up for was the only game they actually really did anything was the one where they won like 11-4.
And then they choke it the rest of the way. That's exactly what the hell happened. And we do not, and us Yankees fans do not want to talk about it ever again.
No, I
and
do
I
not.
hope that and Aaron Boone needs to go.
Him and Brian Cashman both.
You know what?
I mean, especially when it came to game 1.
You know who we should get? Dave Roberts should be our new manager. We should do like them a swap.
I'm never gonna forgive Boone for sitting there and putting. Let me just put Nestor Cortez on the mound so we can throw a pitch to Freddie Freeman so we can knock it out of the park instead of putting I forget who it was. Instead of putting I think it was Hill or Hall or whatever. Instead of putting Hill on the mound, yeah, let's just put Cortez on the mound who hadn't played a game in like 47 days and he's just coming back off of an injury. Yeah, that sounds great. It sounds awesome.
That sounds stupid in my opinion.
And his excuse was, I just was thinking about the left-on-left battle. Man, the left-on-left battle. Put the guy in there that actually is healthy and actually didn't have an injury. Instead of putting the guy out there that actually was injured and just coming back from 47 days after injury. Like, are you stupid? Do you want to win the World Series or not? Clearly, you didn't.
Yankees haven't won the World
Series. I hate this team.
15 years at this
They haven't won the World Series since I was 3 years old.
15 years.
That's the problem.
I hate this team.
And then people in Los Angeles were burning a freaking Metro bus on fire.
Because they're psychopaths. But they say that we're psychopaths.
Yeah, right. I guess they
Yeah. Let's just go burn a metro bus and make ourselves look like actual less psychopaths, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There'll be actual menaces for doing that.
Trust me. Don't get me wrong. A lot of Yankees fans can be menaces. I'm not going to deny that. There are some bad apples out there. Abso-freaking-lutely. There are. And I don't condone any of the crap that they say or do. Trust me. They are not saints by any means. They're not.
Yeah, I think Brandon also said that the Mets beat the Dodgers in more games. He made fun of us.
Those grimace seriously, those grimace having fuckwits.
But folks, not to be confused.
Y'all be worshiping. They be worshiping Grimace like he's the second coming of Christ.
Folks, not to be confused with what my lady just said. Not to be confused. Not to be confused. There was another Brandon that I know, who I've known since 2017, who I've yet to get him on the podcast. Brandon Panetto. That's what my boo-boo was referring to. Not Brandon Devine. It was Brandon Panetto.
It would be a miracle.
So just want to clear that up before
it will be a miracle
if y'all get that confused. But with what y'all are saying,
Yeah, it would.
It's been 15 as of this recording, 15 years since they won the World Series. We won the clock a year. It was the Phillies' time to shine, and they haven't won it since.
Yep.
Yeah, and guess what? We swept the Phillies.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. I don't want to piss you off,
We
and
won't
you're
talk
gonna
about
start
it,
throwing pitch.
We won't talk about it.
If we do, you're gonna throw pitchforks at us.
I was just playing with y'all. You know that.
Well, we know that. We know.
My question is, how the hell did the Yankees? Oh my God! How did the Phillies lose that bad? Oh, 4 times.
I don't know. What happened to the Liberty? What happened to the bell? I was waiting for the bell to dong.
Shut up.
What happened?
Shut
Did
up.
it crack again?
Shut up. Shut up.
Like, I'm just saying, like, what happened to the bell? Did it crack again?
Shut up. Shut up.
Stop.
Hey, you can't say shit. You literally pressed me earlier about Jimmy. I'm pressing.
Shut up.
You can't back out of it now. You pressed me about Jimmy 10 minutes ago. I'm pressing you. How's it feel?
Stop it. Come on.
It ain't much fun when the shoe's on the other foot, right? Right?
Josh.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Even though this is just and giggles.
Go yourself.
But still,
like, if you don't want the smoke, then don't bring it to me. You don't want to be like, I'm just telling you, you can't take the heat. Stay out the damn kitchen. Point blank, period.
No.
Straight like that.
Why think?
I'm telling you.
What's in the name of this podcast?
That's how I feel about it. Can't take the heat. You stay out the damn kitchen. That's how it go. That's how it be.
Dude, what's the name of this podcast?
Turn 4 Sports Controversy. We're already doing it.
Trust me, guys. Obviously, of course, if there's any new viewers that are watching, trust me. There is no angst or animosity towards any of us here when we do this stuff. It's all based off of our own passions. Trust me. There is no animosity. We all get along just fine. It's all of us being passionate fans, being passionate people, and just being butts. Okay? Just so if anyone gets the wrong idea, trust me. At the end of the day, we're all friends here. None of us have any animosity towards each other at any point. It's all our passion at the end of the day. That's all that this is. And just wanting to point that out before, if anybody's gotten this far and has been wondering, like, what the hell, like, I'm just letting you guys know that. If there's any, of course, obviously the previous viewers know this, but any new viewers, just letting you know that, just pointing it out.
And we do this for fun and games.
So just don't be alarmed if this is what you end up seeing sometimes. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen sometimes. So just wanting to point that out.
Like it happened.
Yeah, in the Pitch Cup series.
I just figured I would put a little disclaimer in there. I just felt that needed to be said.
Noah Livingston.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Noah Livingston
just
and
so no
one of the other people in the chat Chad Dalton. They're playing Lightning McQueen and Chick Hicks, and they're going to be going after each other in this series a lot.
As from what we've seen,
This is
I think we've seen it a couple of times.
out of all the podcasts that have been recorded this year, this is more than likely my top 3.
No.
It's up there in the top 3, in my opinion, at least.
Really?
Yes. Of all the episodes, of all the episodes recorded so far, this is in my top 3.
What's number
Nothing wrong
one?
with that.
As of this recording,
What's number one?
it was the one where we had myself, of course, because I'm the main host, Bryce, Sandra, and Brandon on.
Oh, is this the one where they say you're going to school not to strip?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one. That's the one.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm saying this. You have to dress appropriately when going to a NASCAR race, especially if you're in like the garage. Like if you're going in the garage
You should
area.
Since you
like
did the
you
VIP
are
experience
going.
before. Which I forgot to mention this when
Yes,
we
I
did
did.
the episode 9. I forgot to mention when you were talking about Atlanta and Richmond, your VIP experience. I forgot to mention what was it like in the paddock. Well, you're on now, so you might as well spit it out now.
Okay. So what happened is you got this lanyard, you got it the day of the race, and what happens is it's like a whole new world out there. You see this that most people probably don't get to see this ever in their lifetime. You get to see behind the scenes on what goes on the morning of race day, like not like the actual morning. Like we're not stalkers or anything. And then you see like there's a VIP pass. You get to go to the haulers. You may see drivers doing interviews, like I saw with Chris Buescher. Chris Buescher was doing an interview for Fox Sports on his race. I think he was making his 300th Cup start, I believe. I think that was. Don't quote me on this. And you could take photos with drivers, but the only real like problem I have with the passes that I had was you didn't get to go in the driver's meeting. Well, at Dover, you can. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to say this right now. For the first time in Turn 4 Sparks controversy history, I will be going in the driver's meeting at Dover Motor Speedway in July. I am really proud, and I'm really, really excited to get this experience started with. I've met so many drivers over the years. I've even met drivers that I have never met personally, and Atlanta is no exception. I've met Daniel Suarez. I've met John Hernimacek, Kyle Busch. I've done all that. Me and Carson are like close friends now, but technically not really. Carson, if you're listening to this, we're acquaintances. We're not friends just yet. If I sit next to you at the driver's meeting, like the last thing you could see from me at Dover is like a bunch of arguing. Like that's the last thing I want to see. And guess what? Yeah, I was also on the red carpet for the drivers at Richmond. And everyone was going crazy. Like everyone was like screaming their names. Like it was like so loud. Like, be careful out there. Please don't get into anything. Like you have to be at least 18 or older to do it, unfortunately. And fair warning, they cost you thousands upon thousands of dollars. If you don't want to spend your money on it, good for you. I'm not forcing you to do it, but I feel like this should be something that you will probably experience for a lifetime. You can make so many memories. NASCAR races are here for memories. They're not drama. The races are not held to produce drama. Well, maybe in a sense, but again, I don't want to keep blabbering on, but in my honest opinion, like, these VIPs are so cool. Unfortunately, you're not down in the pits during the race. You have to be in your seat by then. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, cause I tried getting an autograph from Mike McDowell, but a security guard told me absolutely not. We can't do that, because if I were to go below that line, like separating us from drivers, then I probably would have been kicked out. I didn't want to get yelled at. Oh, and you probably also saw my Instagram story. I am a huge musical theater kid, and when I did this, when I met Chase Briscoe, because I imagine playing Sharpay in High School Musical, which is a very, 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 very popular thing on Disney Channel in the early 2000s. It was everywhere. They made like 3 movies, and I'm like the diva. I'm like, ah. And then I showed this to Mrs. Day at school, and she's like, ah. I'm like, ah. And then, like, Briscoe was just standing there, motion, lifeless. Like, come on. This is my show. You were born in 1994. You were like 12, 10 years old when High School Musical came out. And you don't know what it is? Are you freaking joking right now? Also, I don't want to shout too much because my mother's trying to sleep. She heard what I'm saying. Then I'm
Voice down, then.
anyways. Exactly. Dude, again, I need to keep this brief, but like, it's a really fun time. Like, I just don't want to keep shouting for too long. Because again, my mother can hear me. We do not want to get into another arguing type situation.
Yeah,
in the style of Dance Moms.
Yeah, that literally happened, but in a
Like,
friendly way.
Enough. Like, I've been watching Dance Moms for like a few years now, and NASCAR is like Dance Moms 2.0. Like, I've seen, like, if there's this show.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because there's this show on Lifetime you probably watched around like 2011, 2012, or like maybe like 2013, 2014. You probably watched it. Dance Moms. It was originally going to be a documentary called Just Dance, but they changed it to a reality show. They thought it was about young girls in competitive dance world as a documentary, not a drama-filled reality show about their moms fighting. And like, what's so interesting to say is a lot of the competitions were fake in the later seasons, but in the earlier seasons, they're actually real. And also for fakeness, and like the fakeness, like all the dances on this show were filmed twice. Once was for judging, and the other is for extra camera angles. Well, now you know.
Regarding the VIP experience, especially with the Dover coming up in several months' time, I'm really happy for you. Simultaneously,
Thank you.
while we're on the subject, we are going to more than likely do one of these recordings when Dover pops up, where we will discuss what went down from start to finish, and you can discuss not only the race from your point of view, but the VIP experience, especially the drivers meeting. That I'm really keen to hear on. Because again,
and like, who knows? I might be.
It's unheard of because drivers meeting, again, drivers only. I guess not in this case.
Not at Dover, no. I guess not.
You still with us,
Okay.
Bryce?
Yeah.
I need y'all to do the drivers meeting. Like, y'all would be perfect. Like, but all I want to see is, I hope that there's no TV cameras involved.
The money for that is.
If I had TV cameras, like it's reality TV, like something you see on like Bravo or like Jersey Shore or some of the other things I said that are reality TV shows. I think there was another one that was very infamous, Toddlers and Tiaras on TLC. That was very infamous because they talked about young girls doing long, like literal 2 3-year-olds in beauty pageants. It's funny to say out loud.
And you want to know something funny about that?
What?
You
You never watched
just,
it.
You literally just said that out loud.
What did I say out loud that was wrong?
You mean that was excuse me. You mean that was hilarious?
It was hilarious. Like, can you imagine, like, all their moms were there and it was just nothing but fighting? If all the race car drivers' moms were there and it was just nothing but fighting?
Well, exclude the drivers
Oh
and
my!
exclude the drivers and just the mothers in that room.
Oh jeez! Oh jeez! It would be nothing but nonstop fighting.
At that point, I'm out the door. I ain't dealing with that drama.
They're mothers.
And guess
They're
what?
moms.
And honey, guess
They don't
what?
need to
Honey,
talk
guess
about
what? When we do that, we see drama unfold, you're coming with me out the door.
Or I'll try to help intervene.
If that don't work, you're out the door with me. We ain't dealing with that drama.
Exactly. This ain't no dance moms. Like, this is NASCAR, not dance moms. At this point, they're gonna have exactly.
But with drivers, that's the only difference.
What are we just gonna call it? NASCAR moms, or should we call it race moms? It's too funny.
Sound off in the comments which sounds better. Sound off in the comments which sounds better.
Is it NASCAR moms or is it race moms? Which one would you decide?
Once again, sound off in the comments which sounds the better one.
And we're gonna be, and like for my and you know where I got like how we got, and then another reason why I do my pyramid. Well, I also got that from Dance Moms as well. And what I do is I rank drivers during the playoffs on the pyramid. I started this in like 2020. I started this 4 years ago, and it's going strong.
So when COVID was a thing.
When COVID was a thing, we thought of something, and this is what we came up with. It's the pyramid. This is to rank your performance. This is not for bullshit. This is not for yelling. This is not a time to be yelling and cursing up a storm. Yeah, some of the moms on the show also curse a lot too. Just fair warning.
Simultaneously, not only we should do it for the NASCAR spectrum, but also for Formula One as well.
So F1 needs a pyramid.
Pretty much.
So basically, you want Max Verstappen to be the next Maddie Ziegler. That's what you want.
Pretty much.
If that's what you want, then that's what you're getting. What you see is what you get. And I'm not playing around. Oh, boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my boo-boo for you. Love you.
Like, I'm very vocal. You too. And I'm very vocal.
Love you more.
Bryce, you still with us? Hearing all this?
Yep. I'm still here.
Dude,
Bryce, what do you think is a better name for this?
Dude, I can tell you
okay.
dozing off.
Bryce, what is a better name for the reality TV show based on NASCAR and their moms? You want it to be Race Moms, or do you want it to be NASCAR Moms? What do you want it to be?
I have no idea. I'd rather have it be.
I think it cut out.
You cut out there. Well, you cut out.
Repeat that.
Like, I don't have a say in any of it, so I really don't know, to be fair. I don't know.
At some point,
I think
you're gonna know, since my lady is a Dance Mom's head. So
I'm a dance mom.
telling you
Super fan.
that right
I'm a
now.
super fan.
You didn't know that? Now you do.
No, trust me, I've already known.
So there's going to be points 9 out of 10 times where my boo boo will bring up a Dance Moms reference.
Bowman is like thinking about it, and myself and this Jack. Like here's Bowman's thing on my Hooters noggin boss I have in at my house.
So
I'm laughing, and it's pretty. She comes up to me in my shirt with a big hat, a big giant hat that William Byron has, and all I'm thinking is, you are so hard to take seriously wearing that hat. I bet your Bowman got a chuckle in there on the inside.
are you talking about that big
I'm gonna.
Hooters hat?
I am. Yes, I am. It is so huge.
Literally, because
And I also that's exactly. And sometimes some of these moms, you know what they say?
what's that? Wait, what?
They say the pyramid because they don't like it.
I heard that now. I heard that now.
Yeah, I had to whisper it. Like,
Understandably so, especially since your mother's sleeping as of this recording as we speak. So I can see why you're whispering it. And
it's the pyramid.
again, folks, for those who watch Dance Moms and know it, like my boo boo, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, my boo boo will give you all the details.
Because again, I know almost everything about this show. I've been watching it since God knows how long I've been watching it.
Ever since it came out, hasn't it?
Not ever since I came out. No, I
Nope.
did not. You know what? And you know, I have I did not watch it in 2011. I was 5 years old, remember? Like a lot of the young kids were not allowed to watch the show. I don't think I was allowed to watch the show. I don't think I was because I never watched it when it first came out. I only started watching it in like 2020 during the pandemic. I started watching it in 2020. I started watching it like 4 years ago.
When COVID hit. Wait, was it before or during COVID?
It was during COVID. It was like my first day of virtual classes.
I was finishing up high school when
Was
COVID hit. Was going to go on that senior trip, but yeah, COVID said, yep, not happening.
exactly.
Fucking
Like,
COVID,
can you
man.
imagine?
But
COVID is
that
the
trip,
worst.
I went to that place where it was a senior trip. I made up for it going to that specific place 1 year later, December 2021,
Or where were you supposed? Where were you supposed to go?
Disney World. But again, made up for it when I went there anyway with family 1 year later.
Yay!
The senior trip, which obviously got canceled due to COVID.
Or as we call it, I think Daisy Talks called it the Corolla.
Yikes. Corona.
It was Corolla, like a Toyota Corolla. And he put a little beep beep.
I love you with all my heart, my boo boo. Now, where were we?
What was this?
Where were we? We went from talking about the MLB to freaking my boo boo's VIP experience to Dance Moms. Bryce is over here dead silent now, which is unusual when it comes to
I think Bryce fell asleep.
dude, you still with us or did you?
No, I've been here the whole time. I've just been letting you guys do your own thing.
Oh, okay.
And pop in at any time if you want, okay?
We talked on Martinsville. We talked on the charter system and the whole lawsuit that's going on. Another thing I want to touch on, again, as this recording, it's more than likely going to come out after the championship race. The predictions for the championship and who's going to come out on top for all three series. We have the Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. So who we got winning the Truck Series championship? And let's hope to the freaking racing gods we don't have a repeat of last year's championship race. Oh my God.
What was it? 26 laps of overtime? That race sucks.
Took them literally over.
Literally took an hour. I didn't even watch the race, but from what I heard, it took an hour and a half to finish 2 laps.
Dude, it took over 30 minutes to complete 2 laps.
I
Over
stayed
30
up for
minutes.
the whole thing. And then when
I'm glad I
Ben
didn't
Rhodes
bother wasting my
won
time.
the title,
It would
it
be
was
great
so
when you didn't
okay.
watch the race
Question:
because how much
Ben
of a
Rhodes'
crap
title,
fast the final laps were.
it was
Dude,
awful.
we literally
Ellie
mentioned
Productions
in
is
the,
doing this on that.
we literally mentioned it this past winter.
Okay, question: was Ben Rhodes' championship Mickey?
Yes,
Yes.
both of them are.
Yes,
You
and you know what I
huh?
said, and you know what I put, and you know what I put down for that. I can't sing the song. Can I? It's like, can I sing the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song right now? I don't think
Only the
Disney's
lyrics.
gonna take.
Do not play the audio from that song.
I'm not playing the audio. I'm just saying it. Can I say it or?
Was the
Come inside, it's fun inside. Come
Wait,
inside, you'll never come out.
I didn't say
Oh,
that.
there's
I did
nothing I
not
want
say
to
that
touch on.
part.
There's nothing I want to touch on. I just thought about this.
It was
That's my creepy way of putting it.
MOUSE. MICKEY.
Come inside, you'll never come out.
MOUS. Come inside. There's lots of L's.
Come inside, it's fun
Actually-
inside. Come inside, you'll never come out.
MICKEY. Hear me out. MICKEY. FUCK Ben.
Mickey!
Oh my god.
I think
Oh,
I think my boo-boo's in little tears right now. Aren't you?
hey everybody, it's me, Ben Rhodes. Say you want to come inside my clubhouse?
I love you, my boo-boo.
Oh god. Ow.
You okay?
Oh god, my stomach hurts from laughing so hard. Hey everybody, it's
Oh,
me,
dear God.
Ben Rhodes.
Mommy.
Say you want to, guys, you want to come inside Ben Rhodes' clubhouse?
Crickets.
I hope somebody screams no
Oh
if I say it
no.
again. Well then, all right then, let's go.
MICKEY FUCK Ben.
No. God, wait! I didn't finish. To make the clubhouse here, we gotta say the magic words again. Miska, Muska, 26 laps of overtime. Everybody say it with me. And you too in the chat if you're listening. Miska, Muska, 26 laps of overtime.
Four overtime attempts. 4.
Exactly. Wait. I was just thinking of something. Can we say Miska, Muska 4 overtime attempts? Can we say that instead?
We can now.
All right, let's do it. Everybody say it with me. Miska, Muska, 4
overtime attempts.
4 and then here it comes. MICKEY.
FUCK Ben.
This is too good.
But in all
MICKEY.
FUCK Ben.
Bryce, you know what to say next?
All I'll say is Ben Rhodes is a little.
Oh shit!
Wait a minute. Dude, we talked about him in the several months ago regarding Texas 2020.
Oh God. Oh
Yes.
God.
And you already know my stance on all of that.
What happened Texas 2020? Can we explain for further background for people who don't know?
In
The
short,
only thing I'm going to say about Texas 2020, to keep it short and simple, because I really don't feel like getting into. You have the other podcast to watch for that. But
no,
all
that's
I'm
not
going to
fair.
point out is the reason, especially as to why, if anyone doesn't understand as to why, especially myself, I don't like Ben Rhodes. Long story short, him and Christian Neckis are racing. He gets a little tight. Ben doesn't hit the wall as they're going off a turn 4. Ben gets upset. Wrecks Christian, just completely hooks Christian Neckis in the right rear. Wrecks him on the front stretch going at full speed. Doubles down on the fact that he does it in his post-race interview and doesn't get penalized for it. After wrecking someone on purpose by completely right hooking them in the right rear.
Wow.
And I've hated him ever since for that. And then he completely doubled down on the fact that he did it and Lily showed no remorse for doing so and was never penalized or fined or suspended by NASCAR for doing that.
Oh. He was a total
They let him get away with just
embarrassment.
intentionally wrecking someone for absolutely no reason. And it wasn't because he put him in the wall. It wasn't because of anything. He was just mad that he was racing him. So he just wanted just to wreck him for absolutely no reason intentionally on purpose. The only thing Ben Rhodes is good for is getting drunk after winning a championship and having some really funny press conference videos.
Which happened twice.
That's the only thing. That is the only thing Ben Rhodes is useful for. That is it. That's the only thing he's useful for. Nothing else.
And both championships, in your opinion, are Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
We also touched on that race, the Truck Series Championship race from last year. And I feel like thinking back on it and watching someone, I forget his name, Ellie Productions, I think his name is. He talked about this race recently. I watched it and thinking back, I feel like Corey Heim had the legitimate shot.
Corey Haim should have won it, but Carson Hocevar chose to be a and mess everything up.
Hey, don't call my other bestie a don't say that.
It's the truth. It is the truth.
How dare you?
Oh, no.
He may be here's the thing. I don't care that he's a nice guy outside of the car. That's the same argument that I make with Joey Logano. They may be nice outside of a car. You put these morons in a car, they are extremely unlikable. I mean, if you want to know how unlikable he is, just look at what he did this past weekend in Martinsville, wrecking people intentionally at least 2 to 3 different times that it literally got Jeff Burton to start ranting and raving about him during the broadcast.
Oh my God.
Because they were so fed up with him. And not to mention, don't also forget this too. He also literally intentionally just wrecked Harrison Burton under caution back at Nashville too.
Don't wreck people like that. You know what else I put down as a comment on when Shane Van Gisbergen made a clean pass? I said, see, Carson Hocevar, you could race cleanly like Shane, and you can be respected. Yeah, fat chance.
Like, he literally has a long way to go. Is he talented? Absolutely. Does he have a future? Absolutely. Will he be successful? I think so. But it's not going to start happening until he starts being able to control himself and start learning how to carry himself. On the racetrack, that is. Off the racetrack, he carries himself extremely well. He seems like a very nice person, just like a lot of other people. Put him in a car, he's extremely unlikable. And that's all I'll say about that.
And it shows time
they're on the track
and time again.
And it's like, especially when he wrecked Corey Heim or whatnot back in the trucks last year at Phoenix, and then he started being like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. Oh my God, I hate myself. I'm like, dude, I don't care, nor am I buying that, because you've done this so many times. Why should I feel bad? Why should I even bother even entertaining it? You've done this and been in a situation over again. Why in the world should I care? Why? Give me a reason. Why should I care?
I don't
Why?
think we should care either. Should I care?
Because
No.
I don't.
Should I do a rap
'Cause
on
I
Carson
don't
Hocevar to talk to him how dirty he is, to explain to my viewers how he's likable or how he's being an idiot on track? Yes, I agree. I will probably be doing that as my most popular driver advertisement campaign.
But of course, even Corey Heim himself didn't do himself any other favors either, because then he went and hunted back down Hocevar later and wrecked himself and Hocevar, which was really stupid, by the way. It's one thing to retaliate, but it's another thing to completely wreck yourself in the process. That was so stupid on his end.
Said the exact same thing. Kansas 2012 in the fall.
I mean, the quote literally is, rule number 1 in stock car racing is learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself. He failed at that miserably.
Yes,
he failed at rule number 1 of stock car racing.
Yes, he did.
Failed at it.
No, that
Fumbled.
was Danica Patrick,
You
too.
fumbled. Like, bruh, you fumbled. You fumbled the damn bag.
Again.
Like, it happened again. How many times are you going to fumble the bag, man?
We'll see.
But in all seriousness, I'm not watching the truck race, obviously.
Dude,
I'm not watching it, obviously. I don't care. I haven't watched a single truck race all season.
Did you seriously stuck to your
dude?
You missed out on every race. Did you seriously do that?
I have not watched a single truck race. I'm a man of my word, and I have not watched a single truck race this season, and I will not watch the championship truck race either.
Bro. Not even one?
Come on, give it a try. Will it be worse than last
Not even
year?
one.
I said it then, and I will say it now. Until I hear, and I meant this. I meant this when I said it. Until I hear, not just from 1 or 2 people, I mean from word of mouth, from a vast majority of people, that the Truck Series is worth watching again, that's when I will watch it. But guess what? According from what I've been seeing recently in the last few weeks, it's not worth it. It isn't worth it.
Dude.
Okay, predictions for the Truck Series. Do you want Christian Eckes to win it?
I say that.
Bryce, what about you?
Honestly, here's the thing. I'll tell you what. Obviously, I'm not going to watch it, so I really, to be honest, don't care who wins. But one thing I definitely will say as far as concerning Christian Eckes is concerned, what I will really say, about Christian Eckes is, I like Christian Eckes, but I'm going to be real with you. I really hope that Taylor Gray pays him back after last Friday. And I hope Taylor Gray retaliates. Man. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about doing what, Kyle Busch did to Ron Hornaday in 2011. No, don't do that. Nor same thing what, Kenseth did to Logano or whatever. Don't do that.
Don't take out somebody on lap.
Like, I'm not saying that.
Damn race. Because that makes you look foolish.
Yeah, or what Ty Gibbs did to Brandon Jones. Like, don't do that. What I'm talking about is do what if Taylor Gray late in the race gets to Christian Eckes again, and it's late in the race, just like Christian Eckes shipped him up the track last week. Guess what? Taylor Gray, in my opinion, has every right to ship him up the racetrack next week too when it matters. He did it to Taylor Gray. Taylor Gray has every right to do it back.
Wow. Like, how about Ty Majeski? Is he any good for the title or no?
Oh yeah, I think from what I've heard, he's been one of the best all year.
Like Majeski is not even is like he's like real like if you've met him in person, I met him at Hickory, and he's really he's like really like his height. He's like really short. Like I can tell you from experience. Kind. Like, he's like Sabrina Carpenter's height.
And you heard it from myself. You heard it from Bryce. Honey?
Yeah.
Who do you think
will
win the title?
I hope it's Corey Heim.
Redemption.
I hope it's Corey Heim. He could do something better than revenge. And he needs it, and he needs it bad.
We'll see what happens come Friday. On to the Xfinity.
And
go ahead, honey.
Question. What's the truck punishment? Whoever finishes second in Friday's race, whoever finishes second in Friday's race, what do they have to do?
They have to hug a cactus.
Oh, hell no. I'm not Bryce. Would you do that? Hugging a cactus?
Of course not.
I wouldn't either.
And what about the 5?
It's the same.
And what about the
with
5?
The Xfinity and the Cup Series.
And whoever finishes second in the championship, how many punishments do they get?
5. And those 5 punishments for if we do all 3 series, that's a whole different can of worms for another time.
All right. Yeah, how about we do trucks for right now? First punishment.
Actually, let's go on to the Xfinity because there's another topic I want to touch on. So, Xfinity series, like I said, the punishment for the second in the championship standings, that's again story for another time. For the Xfinity series,
And everybody has to hug a cat.
for the Xfinity series, who we got? Because if we do the punishments, especially with the
More than likely.
hold on, that's 15 punishments combined.
Can you help
Yeah,
me in a couple of minutes?
there's more stuff that I want to touch on, but for the punishments, that's going to take ages for me to come up with.
We're just gonna pick it up just slightly and then move it. Because I don't want the glass to break or anything. That's why I don't want to take it downstairs. Because it'll surely break trying to take it down the steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy. I don't want to hug a cactus.
All right, so back to what I was saying. Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, second place in the standings. That's 15 punishments combined. And given that it's that much, and that I want to touch on the Xfinity Series Champion prediction and the Cup Series Champion prediction, not to mention what happened in Richmond. That was also a big one. I want to get into that before we close this out. If we're doing the punishments now, that's going to take a little bit. Yeah, because with the punishments, that's going to take a while for me to come up with. Not trying to sound like an a-hole or anything, though, with the punishments, especially with 15, it's going to take time for me.
Oh, guess
So,
what?
like,
Daniel
that's
Dye
why I say
was at the Phoenix
that's for another
Suns
time.
game.
So, what were you saying, honey?
Daniel Dye was at the Phoenix Suns game.
How was that?
Bryce, tell me how that went.
I don't think it's
going
over yet.
horrible right now. Yeah, it's going horrible right now. Heater beating the Suns 86-73.
Well, it's going good for me. So obviously, being a Heat fan, that's good for me.
And how the hell are the Suns good this year?
Because I'm not a Phoenix Suns fan, so I'm happy with that.
You know,
The Suns
what's
are
really
pretty good
bad?
right now, from what I've seen. They're like 3-1 right now, or like 6-1 or 3-1 or something like that right
They're
now.
6-1,
So they're good
and
right now.
Cleveland and Oakland are still and Oklahoma City are still undefeated.
Somehow.
And back,
But they're
And
solid
then-
teams, so I'm not surprised they're that good right now, to be honest.
so we're back with a
New
subject
York.
with the Xfinity Series champion. Who we got for that?
We all know
Anybody
Austin
but
Hill's going to
Austin Hill.
obviously, of course, anyone but Austin Hill, but I already know Austin Hill's going to win it. Of course, I'm rooting for my
No.
boy Allgaier, because as you can tell is on my
Allgaier's gonna-
profile
Allgaier's gonna
picture.
choke like always.
Trust me, I already know that's going to happen, but obviously, of course, I'm a fan. I'm going to obviously him regardless.
However, what are the chances that Allgaier wins the championship for once?
Hello?
I don't think
Because
that's
it's just
gonna
never
happen.
going to happen. It's just never going to happen.
It might.
He's been in this is like his 6th or 7th attempt, and he just hasn't never been able to live up to the big moment, not one time.
It might.
Actually, you know, like Allgaier, like Matt, and also while we're back on the subject of trucks, like Matt Crafton needs to retire. He needs to retire soon.
Been in the
He's taking it away from a driver who deserves it.
Matt Crafton's been in the Truck Series since 2000.
2000, retire.
All I'm going to sit here and say about even Kraft, because I'm a Crafton fan, I just don't care anymore because I'm on the trucks. I don't watch trucks anymore like that, obviously. But I got to be real with you. Matt Crafton is legitimately the most disrespected driver in that freaking series.
Yes.
I mean, like, the guy's a 3-time champ. The guy's literally a 3-time champion, and I've seen him get absolutely just blasted by people over and over and over again. I don't think I've ever seen a driver in the Truck Series, or like almost ever, I feel like, get this disrespected by people, this dogpiled on by people, like, constantly. Like, he constantly gets dogpiled on by people, and it's ridiculous, to be honest to me. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I just feel like, dude, the guy's a 3-time Truck Series champion. He ain't no scrub, and people just dogpile on him. I'm like, good Lord, can you at least appreciate the guy just a little bit?
The most infamous two that I can think of, 2019 when he won the championship despite going winless, when he basically exposed the bracket system in the Truck Series. Even with the Truck and Xfinity, they have the bracket system, like how the Cup Series has. Though Xfinity and Truck, they have had that bracket system since 2016. But still, 2019 Homestead when Crafton won his 3rd championship and to date latest championship, which again, despite going winless, and as I said, exposed the system. And another one, which happened last year, Talladega, when he and Nick Sanchez got into it.
And obviously, I made a post about that last year. I offended Crafton on that one because I'm like, dude, he got wrecked. He had every right to be that mad. And this stupid excuse that I saw people coming up with when he had punched Nick Sanchez in the faces. Oh my God, but he's just 19. Oh, but he's just a child. Ain't nobody give a rat's ass. Here's the thing. If you want to play with the big boys, then you may as well fight like one. You may as well get judged like one if you're gonna do stupid shit, especially when it comes to a lot of the veterans. Like, bruh, I don't see anybody at all ever rant and rave or ever say a damn thing whenever Tony Stewart's grabbing a young guy by the neck or calling him an idiot or saying anything. But let Matt Crafton do it. Oh, he's an absolute piece of shit. I mean, did you guys see what he did to Ernie Francis Jr. back at the SRX race a couple years ago in 2022, I think it was? Mm-hmm. When he literally grabbed Ernie by the neck and was screaming at him.
I do not remember seeing that, no.
Because it's because Ernie Francis Jr., from what I remember, made like a really dumb move or whatever on Tony, and that really pissed Tony off. But he literally was telling him, don't you ever do that again, whatever. Do you understand? Like, he literally was yelling at him, like literally screaming at him and everything, literally grabbing a hold of his collar and everything. And said, literally in an interview, that was the dumbest thing that he could have ever done. Tony held nothing back. And this is a guy that's in his 50s, by the way. He's not in his 20s anymore. This is a Tony Stewart that's in his 50s now, saying all that. And Tony's always been like that. Tony ain't a guy to sugarcoat nothing.
It was apparent.
Tell you the truth, if we're going to go by the same logic against Crafton and Nick Sanchez, then Tony being much older, of course, than Joey Logano, and Logano in 2015 being around like 20-something years old, then I guess that same logic should be applied to that then, right? If you're going to do stupid stuff, then no matter what your age is, then guess what? You got to learn. You're going to learn the hard way. And guess what? The thing is, doesn't matter what age you are. Guess what? I don't care what age you are when you get into NASCAR or any sport whatsoever. I don't want to hear that, oh, they're just 18. Oh, they're just 19. Okay, well then if that's the case, then don't be in here then. You need to learn how to carry yourself. And if you can't know how to carry yourself, then that's your problem. Larry McReynolds said it best after what Ty Gibbs did a few years ago on pit road when he had hit Ty Dillon. And there was like pit crew members and officials standing around and all that mess. And he literally said it best. He literally said, if I hear one more fan, one more announcer, one more person say that he's just 19, then okay, don't race in the Cup Series. Don't race in the Xfinity Series. You need to know when to and when not to. You need to know how to carry yourself. And doing it on pit road with a bunch of people standing around is not the place to do it. Point blank, period. Doesn't matter how old you are. Learn how to carry yourself. And if you can't learn how to carry yourself, you are not going to last long in the sport. That's exactly another reason why I went off on Connor Jones recently, wrecking Matt Mills the way they did, sending him to the hospital, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Obviously, he's out now. He's fine. But yeah, literally Connor Jones got pissed off at Matt Mills for blocking him. So then Connor Jones thinks it's the best option to go into the next corner and completely just full throttle it and just completely wreck Matt Mills, and it ended up sending him to the hospital.
Oh, my. Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Got wrecked in a fiery crash, everything at Homestead and all that mess and all that crap. And then here he goes with a rant on the radio screaming, oh, yeah! Oh, I'm tired of it! I'm tired of it! And then luckily NASCAR did park him for 2 laps, but that wasn't enough. If I was NASCAR, not only are you getting parked for the rest of the race, you're being called to the NASCAR hauler and you're getting suspended for 2 races. For that bullshit.
Or more.
That was ridiculous.
What more?
I'm throwing the book at him. That was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And guess what? Connor Jones is only 18. But do I care? No. That was ridiculous. That was stupid. I'm penalizing him the same way I would penalize a 40-year-old doing the same thing. That was stupid. You don't do that. Regardless of your age. That don't matter. You don't do that. That's stupid. So to circle it back to Crafton, when you wreck someone, especially if it's a veteran, what they do next to you, that's on you, homeboy. That's on you, kiddo. You want to play with the big boys? They're going to play rough. If you don't want to play rough, that's all up to you. Trust me, would you give me the same? I'm like, think of it this way. If I was a driver and I'm that age, I mean, I'm 25. Would you give me the same courtesy if I chose to purpose and I got punched in the face by like a 40-year-old? I don't think so. That'd be stupid. I would deserve it. I would. If I chose to wreck them on purpose and a 40-year-old driver punched me in the face, I would deserve it. You're going to play stupid games. You're going to win stupid prizes. The facts.
Didn't Austin Hill?
That's how I would look at it. If I wanted to be stupid, then guess what? That's what's going to happen to me.
Didn't Austin Hill do something stupid at Charlotte around Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, he wrecked Cole Custer on purpose.
Funny enough, they're both in the contention for the championship.
And Cole Custer called him out and called him a pissed off teenager.
I'm assuming he acted like a pissed off teenager. I can't say much because I haven't seen the race, let alone the highlights of that particular race. Regarding the Xfinity race in Charlotte.
From what I remember, I think the two of them were like racing, I think going into the corner. And I think Austin got mad, I think because they were like 3 wide or something. I don't remember. I don't remember it fully, but all I know is that they were racing. And Austin got pissed because I think he ended up hitting the wall because of how hard they were racing. So then he felt the need to then, it wasn't under the cooldown lap, or it wasn't under caution from what I remember. I don't think it was under caution. But it was under green still, down the backstretch. But down the backstretch, he then gets to Cole Custer's back bumper and literally rides his bumper all the way through and then just completely finishes him off and just crashes him. From what I remember. Like, that's part of the reason why I hate Austin Hill. Like, crybaby. Like, it's fine if he does something to you, but the second you do something to him, like, shut up, dude.
Hypocrite. That's what he is.
Like, I cannot. That is the one thing I cannot stand about drivers sometimes. It's like, oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Yeah, I can put people in the frickin' wall, but the second you do it to me, I'm pissed. Like, shut the fuck up.
Exactly. Shut it. Do the driving.
I hate that double standard mess.
Just shut it and do the driving. Do the talking on the racetrack, then your mouth. That's what I say.
The double standard crap. I can't stand that double standard nonsense. They can do something to you, but the second you go to them, oh, then they get pissed. Like, literally, shut up.
So we say
That's
can't
crazy.
stand that.
we say that Austin Hill is prone to win the championship. Simultaneously, Bryce, you say that Justin Allgaier,
That's what I'm thinking.
but simultaneously may fall to the championship away again. But
Like normal.
I say that Cole Custer has a shot. Honey, I think he said the exact same thing a few days ago. That Cole Custer has a shot.
Well, he definitely does. He definitely has a shot to repeat.
He won it last year.
I don't think he will, but he has a chance. He did it last year. He can do it again.
He'll be the first to repeat in the Xfinity Series title in 5 years. Tyler Reddick was the last one to do it. 2018 with Junior Motorsports, 2019 with Richard Childress Racing Enterprises.
I remember.
Yeah, I remember Tyler Reddick was not that much. I remember people were talking about Tyler Reddick not being deserving of the Cup Series ride in 2020 because of him winning the championship in the Xfinity Series in 2019. I remember that.
But it's so funny. It's mainly because of the simple fact that people that said that were so stupid too. Because literally the only reason why they said that is because they felt like his 2018 title was illegitimate. But then it's so funny because then he went out the following year in 2019 and proved everybody wrong. I think he won. It was like 5 races and was a part of that big 3 with himself, Custer, and Bell, and ended up beating them both.
Which he did.
He literally said the way that he did all that, he literally said, you guys think my last championship was illegitimate? Hold my beer. Let me show you exactly how good I am. And that's exactly what he did a year later. He literally said, "Oh, you guys thought my last championship was... That's cool. I'm going to just go out here and just do it again. This time in very convincing fashion."
Tyler Reddick in 2019 in Xfinity level had 5 poles, but he had 6 wins.
I figured. It was around that, like 5 or 6 wins.
Along with that,
because he was a part of that big 3 that year, himself, Bell, and Custer.
Along with that, 24 top 5s and 27 top 10 finishes with an average start of a 6.0 and an average finish of a 6.3.
Easily deserving of the championship. Easily.
I agree.
That's easy, that's easy picking. That's easy money.
I agree. In the end,
that's easy money right there.
In the end, Tyler Reddick succeeded while everyone else faltered or came up short.
And people were still hating on him. They were still hating on him, even after he proved them all wrong again for a second time.
I bet you those same people either look stupid or fans of Reddick now. I bet you nowadays.
Kamikaze especially. I mean, Kamikaze literally got so mad he started drinking vodka or whatever it was that day.
Typical.
Oh, God.
He was like, "Oh my God, that's disgusting. It burns my mouth. I will legitimately die if I drink this. And I kind of want to."
Typical Kamikaze games, am I right?
Typical Kamikaze. I didn't get mad at it because I thought it was funny. I never really got mad whenever he raged at a race. It's funny. I've always found it just funny. When I was younger, when I was first started watching him, I got mad. But of course, as I just got older, I'm like, nah, this is just entertaining. I can't even get mad at this. This is just entertaining.
Especially
oh my God,
Homestead 2018 when Logano won the title.
That was a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot tell you how
like his earlier stuff from like 2014-15 that got under my skin. But 2016 onward, I'm like, nah, this stuff is this is entertainment. This is comedy gold. Literally.
Agreed. So,
like his Martinsville rant from 2018 and also lost, not also. So, Homesteaders classics.
My boo boo, you say the Cut. Okay, honey, you say okay. Which one, Cole Custer or Austin Hill for the Xfinity title? Who you got?
Cole Custer.
I agree. And Bryce, you say Austin Hill simultaneously Justin Allgaier if he doesn't screw up.
Yeah, but I have a feeling Austin Hill's going to do it. I just have that feeling Austin Hill's going to win.
So that's the Xfinity Series. And, of course, the 5 punishments for whoever finishes runner-up in the championship standings, which, again, we're putting that to the side for now. Now for the biggest, the Cup Series. Who we got? Who we got, y'all?
Joey Logano. We all know Joey Logano's going to win because the lucky son of a bitch can never stop winning in even years.
However,
we all know he's going to win it. He wins it every time in an even year. I doubt it. I highly doubt that.
Dude, you never know. You never know.
It's not happening, man. Dude, those Penske cars are going to be too good on Sunday. It's not happening.
You remember 2016?
Yeah, but this ain't 2016. And not to mention, even in that race in 2016, the Gibbs cars were the class of the field. Jimmy, started 40th and made his way, like I said before, previous podcast, made it from dead last and drove all the way into the top 5, top 10. But his car wasn't that good. Dude, Edwards and Kyle Busch were the class of the field that day, man.
What I'm saying is what you just said. Penske with Logano and Blaney, they could be the class of the field. You never know. They could falter up. They could screw up. Byron can be right there. Boom.
That's what I'd be hoping. That's what I would have to hope for. But knowing how Phoenix is, that's not going to happen. This ain't home. It can happen. Phoenix, that ain't gonna happen because Phoenix is just so boring and ain't nothing happens.
It don't matter which where the season finale is located. It can still happen.
Well, I would only have to hope, but I doubt it because I mean, the Phoenix has just been so uneventful the last couple of years in the championship. Really nothing happens in it.
Dude, even New Hampshire can be the season finale, and Byron can still win the.
Fuck that!
The miracles of miracles.
Hell no, man. That the last thing I'd ever want to see is New Hampshire the championship for. But man, I just feel the way that I do because I just feel like I don't know, dude. Like, don't get me wrong. They obviously have experience now after being in it a year ago. And I know they'll bring a fast car. I know they'll bring a car that's going to be able to compete with the rest, but it's like, I don't know, dude. I just feel like, just me as a fan, I just feel like those Penske cars are just so strong at this point in the season, excuse me. And especially now with 2 in there, with both of them going for the title, I just feel like they're going to be just too damn strong. And Reddick, I feel like, is the only one that really is going to be able to compete with them.
Dude, 2016. Remember?
And the only reason that happened was because that last caution came out.
Dude,
Before then, if that race went green, Edwards was going to win fair and square.
Good point.
Or Busch.
More so Carl Edwards.
The only reason that even happened with Jimmy winning the 7th was literally because Dylan Lupton had that brought the caution out. That's what set that up in the first place. But if that went green to the end, it was going to be a battle between those two.
Okay, real quick. Who's more deserving of the 2016 championship? Jimmy Johnson or Cousin Carl? My boo-boo, starting with you.
Who is more deserving
Of the 2016?
of that title?
Yes.
2016 went to Carl. It goes to Carl.
I mean, you already know my stance. I've already said my, point on it before. I've already said my stance that I felt too.
So
even as a Jimmy fan. I said it before. I think I said it in one of the podcasts before then too, that I felt Edwards deserved it. And he was, again, I said it before that he was going to win because he was the best all damn day. All day he was the best car. It wasn't until he got wrecked that then literally it opened the door for Jimmy and everybody else to get in. Jimmy was good, but not good enough. Edwards was the class of the field all day.
However, would you both believe me if I told you
and he wins if it wasn't for that last caution?
However, would you both believe me if I told you that neither Carl Edwards or Jimmy Johnson had the highest average finish in 2016?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because I feel like some of the other Gibbs cars were a little bit better.
Do you know?
Because that was a Gibbs-dominated year.
Do you know who had the highest average finish in 2016?
Kyle Busch, probably.
Joey Logano. Joey Logano.
Well, no surprises there.
Joey Logano. Speaking of which, as I say before,
of all people,
I think in sense Logano's going to win it for the 3rd time. If not, then Byron will redeem himself. Honey,
I know Logano's going to win it. I mean, it's set in stone. It's set in stone.
Honey, what do you think?
But anyways, I should be right back in a minute. You can talk amongst yourselves on that one for a second.
Alrighty. Honey?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the Cup Series championship?
Reddick. Hands down.
And we'll more than likely put up the bud regarding the charter system, my friends.
The charter system needs to go.
And I agree. Not only is it controversial, and not only people say that it's not, it's basically the charter system, it doesn't belong in NASCAR, so to say. And not to mention, it's confusing as hell.
Really?
Yes. Even 8 years later, I'm scratching my head over this damn system. Even 8 years later. Yeah, unusual for me to come out of my mouth as I'm a big-time diehard NASCAR fan, I know. But even so, it just goes to show that I don't know everything about the sport. But still, my point being is that with the charter system, I'm hoping NASCAR does something to improve it. If not, they should just scrap it. But that's just my short stance on it. Again, despite the charter system being confusing as hell. As for the 5 punishments on who finishes running up in the standings, we're pushing that to the side. Actually, no, we can do some of them right now while Bryce finishes up doing his thing. You still there, honey?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm still.
So the truck series punishments, 5 punishments. So the first punishment, 15 bottles of Miller Lite in one go. Not sure how that's going to go. But punishment number 2 is to sign every single autograph session with the fans in the stands that are at the racetrack and in the infield. Punishment number 3 is to hug another cactus while simultaneously kissing that cactus.
Oh God.
That
Oh God.
number 3. Number 4 is to hike
Someone's lip's gonna get cut.
in the desert. And the 5th and final punishment, say Mama Jam. I'm not gonna, if that's a song, I'm not gonna say the lyrics of the song or to avoid that stuff. But basically sing a lyrics to a certain song that a certain driver likes 15,000 times.
All right.
The same song every day. Or that portion of the lyrics of the song.
Wait. Which driver is it?
As for the driver, as far as that is concerned, we'll have to see who finishes second. If it's Christian Eckes, well,
I think
Only
it's called She's a
speculate.
Bad Mama Jamma. I think it's what it's called. She's a Bad Mama Jamma.
they have to sing that. But all drivers have different music tastes. But welcome back,
That
guys.
sounds
Welcome
pretty
back.
bad. Bryce?
Since you're back,
Welcome.
we can touch on this other subject, Richmond, that Austin Dillon won. I'm not talking about the one, honey. I'm not talking about the one that you were at where Denny Hamlin won. I'm referring to the one that Austin Dillon won. I mean, Hamlin was close. Hamlin was close to winning it, but
I hate
it
that.
was 100 to 150 feet, 200 feet shy from the finish line.
Oh my god!
He led it for that.
And I didn't. Funny enough, I didn't even
Assist.
watch that race that night.
200 feet short from the finish line. Why? Austin, it's simple.
And what's
Austin
crazy?
Dillon dumped him, put him in the wall.
Literally, I didn't even watch the race that night either. I literally just
What was the fifth punishment?
the highlights and stuff. I was on vacation then, so I didn't watch the race.
Wait, what was the fifth punishment?
Sing the lyrics, sing a part of the lyrics song to Mama Jamma or a different song to another driver's liking. Once again, all drivers have different tastes in music. Now, back to the Richmond subject. That's all 5 of the Truck Series punishments down. Whoever finishes runner-up in the standings in the Truck Series. Back to the subject with Richmond, that Austin Dillon won. But I should say didn't watch the race because on holiday / vacation.
Yeah, I was on vacation. I was literally on vacation in Sea Isle, so I didn't see it.
I figured that's where you went. I keep saying every now and again. Honey, I remember you watched the race because you were literally, I remember you saying that you were literally screaming your lungs out, particularly the finish where Hamlin led, you were screaming in a good way, and then a second later, when Austin Dillon put him in the wall,
I yelled,
screamed again, but not in a good way.
I yelled, go, and I was like, fuck.
Kind of reminiscent of what, Bryce, sorry to bring it up, but kind of reminiscent of, Bryce, what your reaction was when Johnson had a shot to win the Roval 6 years ago, and you were cheering, and then you were screaming in a not so good way, and then you were screaming again in a good way, and then you screamed again not in a good way. So it's kind of reminiscent of that.
I believe it.
Sorry to bring it up, dude.
Painful memory. It's one of the most painful and most heartbreaking losses I've ever had as a fan.
But Johnson did win at Charlotte. I almost said Lowe's at Charlotte 8 times. No, more than that, actually. Yeah, actually, yeah. He is the one that, if you count the All-Star race, he's won there on more than 7 occasions. And 4 of those wins came in the Coca-Cola World 600. He could have had 5 or 6. I say that because 2006 he was close, but wasn't close enough to close down Casey Kane in 2006. And then 2017, he was right there, but didn't have enough gas left in the tank to finish it off.
That one still hurts.
Was 2 laps shy. 2 laps shy. Coming off of turn 2, out of gas. That's how Austin Dillon won his maiden Cup Series race because of that. So Johnson basically just handed the win to Austin Dillon that night. Basically. Again, dude, sorry to bring it up. Sorry to bring that up.
Still hurts.
At the end
Still
of the
hurts.
day, though, Johnson has won at Charlotte on multiple occasions. So you can be satisfied and happy with that. But back on the subject with Richmond, that Austin Dillon won. Especially what Logano said in the post race, that it was, and I quote, chicken shit move.
Zach.
Agreed?
No, it was.
Agreed.
It was.
Okay, so I want to hear y'all both stand.
Completely agree.
Not only with the finish, but simultaneously with Logano's point of view. Ladies first.
For what?
Richmond, Austin Dillon won.
It-
And simultaneously
It was awful.
explain elaborate on Logano's point of view in the post race.
Logano was right. Like, he did not want to, like, he just said, like it was bullcrap. And I agree with what Logano said. It was a chicken move. I agree with Logano.
And you said the finish was awful.
Yes.
Let me guess, because of Austin Dillon winning.
Oh my God, yes. It was so Mickey.
Combine that with him taking out Denny Hamlin for the win.
Exactly.
And Logano, for that matter. I also remember seeing some people on the internet referencing that to Dale Earnhardt.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it was complete, utter, just complete boosh, just complete bullshit. Like, literally, and obviously, of course, from Logano's standpoint, I mean, not to mention he even called him out saying he sucked his whole career, and he's not wrong, because literally Austin Dillon up to this point has done absolutely nothing. And even before this race, and here's the thing, before I even eat into Austin Dillon here, let me actually be real with you and actually tell you that before any of this happened, Austin Dillon was actually going to win the race outright. If you remember and recall, this dude actually ended up battling Denny Hamlin, passed him clean, and was pulling away. It wasn't until dumbass Ricky Stenhouse Jr. decided to cause the caution that set all that up in the first place. So,
Again.
to be fair, in a way, we kind of got to blame Ricky Stenhouse Jr. for what ended up transpiring in the first place. Of course, what Austin did was still wrong, but blame Stenhouse for bringing out the caution in the first place, because Austin was well on his way to winning that race outright until, because I got to give him, I got to do it. Even though I don't like him, I got to give him his props. I got to give him his flowers. He actually ended up running a really good race. Not to mention, this was the best race of Austin Dillon's career before that to this point. He qualified well. He ran well all day. I was surprised. I was shocked out of my mind to see him actually qualifying well. He ran well all damn day and ended up being in contention and literally took the lead from Denny late in the race and was going to win until that last caution came out. But of course, that doesn't excuse, though, what he chose to do after. Dude, literally, even my own mother, who we've been to the races with obviously a numerous times at this point, but my mom's not even a massive NASCAR fan. She just obviously just watches it whenever, we go to the races or whatever and just all that stuff. But even my own mother, when we sat down and watched the replay of that race, even she said that wasn't right what it is he did. Even she said that was wrong. And you know it's bad when someone who doesn't even watch NASCAR like that literally calls you out and says that you're wrong for what it is you did. That's how you know it's wrong.
Fact. You literally just said, your mother said that she watches the races whenever we go to the events, but is not a NASCAR fan like we are. The fact that she said,
Even she was like, "That's
in it,
not right."
and she's not big into
She
NASCAR as
literally
we are,
said
and she
that.
says
She was
that,
like, "Yeah."
that's
She literally, when we were watching
saying
it,
something.
she literally said, "Yeah, that's not right. That's not right." She literally said that. She said exactly like that. Like, "Yeah, that's not right."
And that's saying something.
Because he wasn't. Not only does he do what he like, literally, not only does he absolutely dive bomb the corner and just flat out cleans Logano out, then he right hooks Hamlin in the rear and wrecks him.
Dude,
And Hamlin even said that I think it's the hardest hit he had ever taken. And then not to mention it compounded even worse. His spotters cue on the radio saying, "Oh, go down, 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 yeah, wreck him, wreck him."
dude, that's part of the reason why Austin Dillon was removed from the chase bracket. Because you know the winning you're in, you
Literally.
guarantee to spot in the chase. But guess what? NASCAR went further investigated into that and found more evidence, slapped Austin Dillon and RCO on the wrist, and took Austin Dillon off the chase.
And they made the right call.
They did. They did. And you said,
and then, of
when
course,
Austin Dillon,
stupid Richard Childress Racing chose to appeal 3 separate times. God, I hate RCR.
you mentioned that look, Austin Dillon spun Logano. I remember seeing people reference that to when Dale Earnhardt turned Terry Labonte at Bristol 25 years ago.
That stuff made me laugh my butt off, dude. I swear. There were so many people saying, "Oh, well, Dale did it. Oh, but Dale did it, and he was amazing. Dale did it, and everybody loved him." The only thing I have to say to those people that keep saying that is just watch what he did to Terry Labonte at Bristol in 1999. And literally just listen to the fans and the reaction in Victory Lane when he climbs out of the car. And you tell me that people love that. He was booed for doing that. He was booed. People didn't like that. No one liked that. No one but Earnhardt fans liked that. He was booed mercilessly for doing that. Like, I hate how people now, because Dale Earnhardt's not alive anymore, people have these rose-tinted glasses anytime a person dies. And then like, "Oh, well, they were always loved." Dude, and we all know this. Dale Earnhardt was way before all three of us. He was way before our time. But literally from someone who knows it better than us, Slapshoes himself literally said it in a video of his that Dale Earnhardt was literally after his passing, obviously. Of course, people love him now, but people were very split on Big E back in the day. He literally, as a kid, would always go to like the races in Kannapolis, or would always go to the races at Charlotte, literally not so far away from his hometown of Kannapolis. And he would literally hear his hometown crowd boo him. So no, Dale Earnhardt was not universally loved by everyone. If his own hometown crowd boos him, that's all you need to know. He was not universally loved. He was a very polarizing figure in his days. Very polarizing. Not even just amongst fans. Even amongst drivers, he was polarizing. I mean, look at Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott was pissed when that famous pass in the grass move. Bill Elliott called him out for that.
Quote unquote pass in the grass. I can't stress that enough, because that one moment when Earnhardt was on the grass, he was in front of Elliott, so it wasn't really a pass. I'm just saying logic here.
For real. But Earnhardt was not loved like that back in the day. He was a polarizing figure. But these morons, these idiots will try to sit here and make you think, "Oh, he was loved so much back in the day." No, he wasn't. He was only mainly loved by Earnhardt fans, and he was mainly loved by Earnhardt fans and people that just didn't like Gordon.
You were either a Jeff Gordon fan or a Dale Earnhardt fan. There was no in between.
Jeff Gordon fan. Because obviously, of course, if you know me, if I was born in the 90s at that time period when all that was going on, I'd have been a Gordon fan. Of course, Jeff was the reason I got into the sport to begin with, so I'd have been a Jeff Gordon fan back in the day. I would have hated Earnhardt back in the 90s, dude. I would have hated him.
Given that
especially for those antics, wrecking people on purpose.
And given that literally Jeff Gordon was your first favorite NASCAR driver, I can see where you're coming from.
Oh yeah. But obviously, of course, as you already know, that's just me as a fan, as a person in general. I hate people that I don't like drivers that for one, go deal with double standard nonsense, and especially just take people out for no reason. If you know me very well at all, you already know I'm a person that would rather sit down and watch like two guys, if not as many drivers out there, put the pedal to the frickin' metal and drive around the people they're trying to beat instead of just putting them in the wall or taking them out because you can't, because you're unfrickin' talented, number one, or number two, you just got tired of racing basically and chose to take the easy way out. Instead of passing them clean or passing them with like a little bit of bumping and banging a little bit, instead you just want to clean them the frick out because you have no talent or because you just want to you just got tired of racing and just wanted to take them out so you can get the easy win, get a tainted victory. The fact that no one can sit there and say that, oh, dumping someone for a win's not a dirty move, it's a racing move. Yeah, it's a racing move to just completely dump the guy you're chasing after. Don't actually try to pass them. Don't actually try to get around them and show you have some small little iota of talent. No, just turn them. You're running second, just wreck them. Who cares? Who cares? Just race, just spin out the leader. That's not a free-for-all or anything.
That was Dale Earnhardt back in the day. That was him back in the day.
So what Austin Dillon did was terrible. That was a horrible move on his part, regardless of how he drove at the beginning portions of the race. Regardless of how he drove before that caution came out, that's the main reason why he didn't make it. But then guess what? He didn't deserve to make it in the first place because at that point he was like 26th in points.
He was
Should a 26th place driver make it in with a W? I don't think so.
He was around that range, either that or 32nd in points, or lower than that.
And before then, the year before for him last year was miserable. He was horrible last year. I think he had like 10 DNFs. And this year, he has been even worse. That Richmond race was the only bright spot to his season. Ever since after that, he's basically reverted right back to the status quo of running like crap again. And he has not been seen since.
Do you want to know how many top fives he had in 20
until last weekend?
Do you want to know how many top fives he had?
I don't
last year and this year combined.
Like 2.
Yes, you're correct.
I figured it's at least like 2.
Average finish, as far as last year is concerned, a 21.8.
It's like I figured, and this year's average finish, he's haven't hit even 24th place average finish, or like a 25th place average finish.
It's a 22.4 average finish, actually, as of right now, because we haven't gotten to Phoenix yet, as of this recording.
As of now, but it's still bad. 22-point average finish, that's still bad.
Even so,
that ain't good.
Again, like last year, it's in the 20s range as far as the average finish is concerned.
Again.
You surprised?
And people want to sit there and say that this guy's underrated. I'm not surprised. And people say that he's underrated at best. How? How is any of this underrated? All this screams to me is overrated and underachieving. That's what this is. All it screams to me literally is that. Overrated and underachieving.
Do you know how many DNFs Austin has last year and this year combined?
Like combined together?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with probably at least close to 30.
Okay, not that many.
Probably like 22.
Close, but a little bit back.
18.
A little further back.
12.
2 more. Up.
10.
2 more up. 2 more up.
So then 11.
3 more up.
15.
1 more down.
14.
Just remember, I'm getting tired here.
Bingo! 10 of those.
I'm not surprised.
10 of them coming last year. 4 DNFs
Go figure.
Now. It might be 5 come Phoenix, but we'll see. But 4 DNFs this year, 10 last year.
Just a terrible season, man. And people really, I cannot believe they're underrated.
Underrated my behind is what I say. Dude.
It's like,
more like,
and even this year, he only had 1 good race.
More like underachieving.
Like, literally, he is both overrated and underachieving. Like, he still has yet to have a season where he over, like, more like 100-something laps. he has yet to fit. He literally still has yet to have a season finishes top 10 in points. He has yet to have a season where he actually goes out and is actually the dominant car from start to finish on a week-to-week basis. Like, do I even need to go on? He has yet to do any of this in like literally 11 years. 11, almost 12 years of cup competition.
Full time, at least.
He has yet to do any of this in literally, at this point now, almost 11, 12 years of competition. This doesn't scream underrated to me. It screams overrated and underachieving.
The highest he's led laps was 2020 when he led 135 combined out front that year.
And that's the most laps he's ever led in his entire career.
Yep, as of right now.
Up to this point. He ain't led any more since then.
And his highest in the championship standings is 11th on 1, 2, 3 occasions. 2017, 2020, and 2022.
And people think just because he has like 5 different playoff appearances, I'm supposed to care about that. It don't mean nothing when he isn't even in contention for anything. And when he only gets there off of like Mickey wins or only gets there off of like pure contrivance. I'm supposed to be impressed by that?
I.e., Charlotte.
He's done nothing. He has done nothing in 11 years.
To your point with the Mickey wins, i.e., Charlotte Memorial Day in the World 600 in 2017. And then several months later, February 18th, 2018, for the Daytona 500, he spun El Almirola and pretty much dumped him for the win.
Yeah. Like, literally, none of his wins are impressive to me. Now, the only wins that are impressive to me, of course, that fuel mileage win, I can give that one. I've been on record saying that before. I can give him that fuel mileage win. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, of course, fuel mileage wins are not the most impressive wins, but in a way, they still do mean something. Because, I mean, even when it comes to fuel mileage, excuse me, like literally when it comes to fuel mileage racing, you're making sure that you're able to save enough gas while not losing too much time. So I can give him that one. I can give him that.
Charlotte 2017?
Yeah, I can give him that one.
Well, I'm getting tired.
That does take some skill.
Which it does.
Like, you're trying to save fuel while also not trying to lose too much time.
Exactly. Honey,
I'm getting tired, so can we wrap this up? Yeah, I'm getting tired.
I can tell because you were silent in the background.
Because I'm tired.
I'm not. I'm hungry, more like. Because I haven't. Well, to you two, this is not going to sound surprising, but I have yet to eat something today.
Damn. Guess what I had?
Knew that already.
I had shrimp and scallops.
What the hell are scallops?
And sunfish. I don't even know how. They're
Seafood.
like clams. It's seafood, like clams.
Well, the only seafood that I eat is shrimp and fish. I used to eat crabs, and well, I never once ate lobster, but I ate crabs before, and I never will eat those ever again.
Never again?
One night, I was eating crabs like normal, and then I felt sick, and I vomited. And since that night, I haven't ate crabs since.
Well, understandable. I get it.
I haven't ate crabs ever since that night, and I plan to remain that way because I don't want to have that same episode happen again where I get sick to my stomach. And it's weird because it only happened that one time I ate crabs. All the other times before that, I had no problem. So that was weird. Other than that,
That is kind of weird.
other than that, y'all, we pretty much discussed a good. I can't even say good because we talked about a frick ton of controversial stuff in this episode. This may or may not be the last episode of 2024, but we'll see what happens. It depends on our schedule and what we got going on. But as far as I'm concerned, I see us doing at least 1 or 2 more before the year's up. At least. But again, it depends on our schedule, what we've got going on. Will we get 1 or 2 more episodes in before the year ends? Before we hit 2025? It's seriously hard to believe in less than 2 months,
Exactly.
it'll be 2025. Holy smokes, where did the time go? Feels just like yesterday, the NASCAR season just started with the Clash. And here we are with the Phoenix Championship coming up. Damn, time flies. But once again, will we get 1 or 2 more episodes in before the year closes off? Time will tell. Until then, this is where we'll wrap up this recording session for the night. As one, I'm hungry as hell. My stomach is calling for food. My stomach is calling for food as we speak. Two, I'm kind of lightheaded. I'm kind of lightheaded as we speak simultaneously. And number three, honey, you said you were tired,
Yes.
meaning that's where we're going to end the recording session. Bryce, I don't know about you, but are you tired?
Not really. Not at the moment. That is, at least.
Dude,
I'm wide awake.
we could literally just go for a bit longer if we wanted to, but I need to eat. I need to eat, dude.
Well, of course.
I need to eat, dude. But until then, y'all, it was good with this episode. Really good. A lot of topics to cover up and a lot of controversial debates. A lot of them. And what a ride. What a ride. And another thing, before we close off the episode, this will also be, this upcoming race, Martin Truex Jr.'s last Cup Series appearance as a full-time driver, at least. Y'all seen the paint scheme? It is reminiscent of his first career start, 2004.
That's so crazy.
Kind of similar
His last one.
to his 2005 paint job, but you know what I mean. It's more so reminiscent of his first Cup start. Kind of like how they did with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 2017, when he threw it back to his days with Budweiser, and the paint scheme looked eerily similar to his paint job with the Cup Series Budweiser car from 1999 through 2002, as far as the design of that particular paint scheme is concerned, how it was designed. It looked eerily similar to that. Regardless, though, you two, another day, another episode. Final thoughts before I close it off?
Not exactly much. Just hope you enjoyed the episode and see you in the next
Not-
one.
I don't have anything else to say either.
Neither do I, but pretty much what Bryce said, you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth. And with that being said, this is where episode 11 of Turn 4 Sparks Controversy ends. So until the next one, this is Turn 4, signing off the mic as always. And until next time and for the notice, peace out, stay safe, and of course, my boo-boo, Bryce, you both have your final sayings. Say it now before I end the recording.
Bye, everyone.
Well, that's all I'm gonna say is hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you, wherever you're watching, obviously, in the world, it doesn't matter if you're watching America, any other area, any other country, no matter what time of day you're watching, day, night, midday, doesn't matter. Hope you're having a very fantastic day, night, or evening, and obviously we shall catch you guys in the next one. Peace.